disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing.
Lobito!
Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Well, welcome everybody to another BD Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. As your good friend, Mr. BDA, and I tell you something, we've got a heck, and I do mean heck of a show for you fellas, and the hits just keep on coming with boxing. Theater of the unexpected, well, unexpected for some people, but let me tell you something fellas, we got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about last night's big fight between Dimitri Bivol and Saul Canelo Alvarez. Everyone's talking about it, and we are as well. Going to be opening up the phone lines, I'd say between the next 45 to an hour, maybe 45 to 60 minutes, depending on how the conversation goes. All right, fellas, but we do want to hear from you, so stay tuned for that as well. But before we get down to the fun, let's get the business out of the way, fellas. You know the drill. You can check us out on Spreaker, iTunes, and Spotify at your leisure. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you can certainly do so. But the most important thing is that you continue to like and subscribe. Worst case scenario, if you really want to help out financially, join the BDA membership program. You get special emojis and badges in return. But like I said, you got to spread that BDA gospel. A lot of uninitiated out there. All right, we gotta start talking about the big fight. But before we do that, shout out to everybody in the chat. Hold on a second. Let me just put the chat here. There we go. Shout out to Jethro Luis, Self-Law, Soothsayer, Under a Microscope, Raven Gamer, Lights Blue, Morni Valov 4, AA, Disturbed Reality, aka Delboy. Check out Delboy's boxing channel, Blue Collar Sports TV, The Quags, Get These Hands, Don Hearn, Bray, Flex Gado, Jethro Reese, Pablo Picasso, It Was All a Dream. Shout out to It Was All a Dream, Fast Car, Hard Recoil, Don Ramon Champ, Mike from Boston, Soothsayer, Pollo, what the fuck, Pollo Yo-Yo? Pollo Yo-Yo, what the fuck name is that? Kenshiro in the house as well. Shout out to Kenshiro, M36AW, KO Surge, and many more people to come, I'm sure. Fellas, thank you for joining us. Willie. Well, let's start talking about it. I got Gonzalo and Bucho on the line. Now, if I remember correctly, you guys did a show last night, open panel. How crazy did it get last night? I didn't listen to all of it, just the beginning.
No, it was a bit crazy. It was okay, man. It was too many people, obviously, but I expected that. Some people claim that they knew that it was going to happen. Others are saying that apparently this one guy was saying, I forgot his name, that a lot of people on this channel said that Canelo was going to win by stoppage. Do you remember that, Mr. BDA, or am I?
Well, is he talking about the open panel? Because people need to differentiate. People love to lump everyone together on here, but if we got an open panel, there's 20 people.
Yeah, I think he mentioned some of the predictions that people gave from
well,
the callers.
I got the predictions right here. I wrote them down on the last Open Lines Friday show, this Friday.
Yeah, Mr. BDA, what's up, brothers? He actually said he was like, nah, he picked Canelo to win. I said, no, and I hope I'm right. You did pick Bivol, didn't you? Yeah, you
Yeah.
right along. You've been saying Bivol.
Yeah, but I don't want to get into the I told you so.
Oh no, but he was specifically saying your name, in the
What?
show. That's
Who
why
said-
last night. And I
which
was like,
guy?
no, I just want to make sure.
I don't
right.
know, Jimmy. I don't think so. I think he just said people on the show. I don't think he said Mr. BDA. I think he said on
Oh
the
yeah,
BDA.
no. And everybody was yelling. He did. He said, "Mr. BDA even said."
Oh,
no,
okay.
yeah, and I was like, no, he didn't.
I tell you, some
So-
people don't listen to the show, man, or they listen, but they're listening, but they're not hearing what we're saying. In any event, like, I don't want to get into the I told you so because that's not my style or our style. Because I think everybody here picked Bivol as well. But I want to get to something here because I didn't get to chime in here on the fight last night. I wasn't on. Just goes to show you, man, the work rate. And Gonzalo and I were talking about this actually before the fight. We were saying, all right, Canelo, everyone says he's going to walk down Bivol, and that's what he needs to do to win the fight. But are his single shots going to be enough to stop Bivol? Are they going to be enough to do damage? And you saw last night that it wasn't. He couldn't. Those shots, I mean, I'm pretty sure they didn't feel good. Even Bivol admitted that his arm felt pretty numb, but he was able to absorb them. And as long as he was able to absorb them, he was able to keep on punching. And Canelo's work rate, it came back to haunt him. And I was always wondering, or we were always wondering, when was he going to run into a guy that was going to be able to exploit that? And lo and behold, Bivol did. Look at this. Alvarez, according to CompuBox, Bivol landed 152 shots out of 710, so he's pretty active. But you notice something, he wasn't overcommitting. That's what everybody wanted to see against Canelo. You gotta throw shots, you gotta throw shots. Nah, you gotta throw little pity pats and mix them in. Otherwise, he sees him coming, he catches you. Bivol played it just right, and he had the footwork to do so. Meanwhile, Canelo only landed 84 out of 495 shots. That is abysmal. And Bivol, somebody had pointed that out on a phone call on Wednesday's show, I believe. He said that Bivol had the best punch-to-connect ratio in boxing, meaning he connects the most and he gets hit the less. Now, if you look at that, 495 shots thrown for Canelo, and we kept saying this before the fight, that work rate is going to cost him and that he's never really gone above the 400 mark. The only exceptions were against Golovkin. And that's because he had to throw more shots. So if you look at the first fight up there in the upper corner there, he threw 500 shots in the first Golovkin fight. Then in the second, he upped it to 622. Here, he needed to up it even more. And he couldn't do it. He got stuck at 495 shots. Gonzalo, you were one of the guys that were saying that the muscle was going to play a key factor into that. Did it indeed happen, do you think? And that's why he couldn't throw more than 400 shots?
Yes, that's correct, Mr. BDA. That's true. Canelo has always struggled with stamina in that category. We saw signs of that ever since, he fought Austin Trout at 154 pounds. Now, an older Canelo at 175, 21 pounds north, or 10 kilos, versus a champion that has excellent speed and timing. Yeah, he was always going to be second best. And if you're landing second, the other guys, he's beating you to the punch most of the time. And, he threw in the single digits per round, and he wasted half of the amount of those punches going to the shoulders. And I know what your guys are going to say. Well, not you guys, but, oh, yeah, he was setting them up. He was lining them up to the shoulders. Then he was trying to break them down like against how he did against the Callum Smith. Yes, that's true. And what I'm saying, wasted, because he hardly threw to the head. And if those punches are not counting, like I think Ryan Garcia mentioned, that it's not a scoring blow, and you still got 5 rounds, hey, man, you might miss more, but every now and then you might hit the head to where they're actually going to score that, and you're probably going to end up winning the fucking fight because they still gave you 5 rounds, and you hardly landed to the head, and you wasted half of those punches going to the shoulders.
Exactly.
When you were throwing single digits per round. That's what I'm saying, BDS. So, yeah. And Eddie Reynoso just kept telling them, do that. It's the same thing he did against Valdez. Valdez, look for the body. Yeah, I understand. But we tend to see things in absolute sometimes. Everything's about changing it. If it worked for you in one fight, it might be different stylistically against this opponent. Right?
Well, it's interesting because those sledgehammer rights and hooks and all that, they were wearing Caleb Plant down. The difference was Caleb Plant, he tried to do the Philly shell defense, and he stood there and he was eating left hooks. Bivol never did that. He stayed tight. He was strong. He was mentally prepared to take those shots to the arms, and he was able to do that. Caleb Plant, but even against Caleb Plant, that sledgehammer approach from Canelo, and even to a certain extent against Billy Joe Saunders, he barely got the job done against those guys. Barely. I mean, he stopped them, but it's not like he was dominating. It's not like he was, he didn't lay them out completely. And against Bivol, you saw the same thing happen. It just this time he couldn't drop him. He couldn't do enough damage on Bivol. Jimmy, I wanted to ask you something. In regards to the scorecards, I saw you tweeted out that, and I think I heard you on last night's show saying that this fight wasn't close at all. I saw that all three judges gave Canelo, all three judges gave him all 4 rounds. Do you agree or disagree with that?
No, I disagree. They gave, the score was 115, 112. To me, that was them trying to edge it towards him, giving as much they could. It was one of those things where it's like Triple G had to beat the shit out of him to get a draw in Vegas, and you know what I mean, and the same type of thing there. But also punching him in the arms real quick too. He might have been doing that out of frustration just to try to slow his punches down. Because I think that's honestly out of everything what surprised the shit out of Canelo was Bivol's speed, his quickness, how quick his punches got to him. You could see it a few times. Remember, he caught him and he'd whack his gloves together and shake his head like, frustration, like, wow, He caught me far away. Like I thought I was out of a distance and he still popped me going out. So I think he was trying to slow his arms down a little, but you're right. It was wasted. I mean, he might, he should have been probably trying to put those in the liver more.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Butcher was telling me that too. He's like, why is he going more to the body? He just kept trying to give that overhand right upstairs. And I think it was clear that he was also trying to set up Bivol for the uppercut. That's why he was throwing those wide hooks so that he could open up the avenues down the middle. But it wasn't going to work out, man. He needed to be more active, and he didn't have the stamina to do it.
And I think one of the reasons what deterred him from the body punching is because Bivol is so well schooled. He turned his elbow out again, like I talked about Chocolatito doing. The guys are real well schooled. And who knows, he might have caught a couple of tips of his elbows, and it could have hurt his hands a little. Like that's a tricky punch if you throw that hook and you catch him square on the elbow. That's an excellent point. Punching into the arm, so
that's the problem with the
sorry,
no boxing. The no boxing, no life, or no stamina, no. You can't perform. they got no padding around the wrist, man. So like when Bivol was landing on Canelo, he was punching right past his guard. He couldn't really protect himself. And like you said, too, when you throw hard to those hard areas, and fucking no boxing, no lives, man, yeah, they're going to hurt your hands too, man.
That's a good point from both of you fellas. Yeah, that's right.
And another thing I think would really affected him, that was too much of a jump. Like there's a reason there's weight classes and people don't do this just because they're talented. They don't go jumping around weight classes just because at some point I could get acclimated to that weight. But that's the key word, acclimate. He needed 2 or 3 fights at 175 to get used to that extra mass. And I know people thinking, what's extra, 10 pounds. But 10 pounds, I mean, that's 5% of his body weight? I'm terrible in percentages, but that's a lot when you talk about extra, blood to have to keep all that going, plus during a fight. So he needed a couple of fights at 175. That was just, you know what I mean? It was too much to ask. That was a big ask. It was a dare to be great fight, as like I just saw tweeted, and got to give him credit for that.
That's right.
Yeah. And not only did he put on the 21 pounds. Yeah, he's moving up. He's daring to be great, but he's also loading up on every shot. Man, that had to tire him out too.
But that was the interesting thing, because I thought Bivol was going to make it, because I know a lot of people are saying it wasn't even close, but in the first couple of rounds, I did think, what the fuck, Bivol's being a little bit too hesitant. I wanted to see a couple more combos. At the end of the day, he knew exactly what he was doing. What the fuck do I know? But I'm just saying, my first impression was, oh boy, he's not... He's falling into that trap. He's playing Canelo's game. And then when he was going to the ropes, I was like, oh, fuck, he's going to do the same thing Callum's. He's getting driven to the ropes. But then he would block one shot and immediately get off the ropes. Unlike Callum Smith, who would spend the whole fucking fight on the ropes just getting his arm busted up. So Bivol knew what he was doing. Too skilled, too fast, too good overall. Guys, I know Canelo wanted to be undisputed at light heavyweight and all that. Is he going to have to recalibrate his up? Because he's talking rematch, this fucking guy. What do you guys think?
He has to recalibrate, I think. Well, depending on the money cut, I'm sorry. Am I talking over somebody? I'm having a hard time hearing you guys.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I just saw an interview what he did with Michelle, the model chick there, who one time modeled, but because some shit isn't said at the press conference. I like to see the individuals when they pull him aside, talk to him, and he was with his manager at the time, and no rematch clause was signed. They didn't have that. And his manager also said he took the bare minimum. They didn't negotiate nothing. They took whatever Canelo offered because they looked at it as an opportunity. Again, this is his manager speaking, a young guy too. So yeah, he was saying it was an opportunity. That's how they looked at it, not as a financial windfall, unlike the other knuckleheads lining up with their hands out. He looked at it as an opportunity to show what he has, not to pad his bank account. But he said, now here's the thing. He will do a rematch, and Bivol said he's even willing to probably do it at 168 so he could go after those belts.
Whoa.
But he said there'll be a much different financial arrangement. He said now it's going to be, because he's the one who beat Canelo, it's not going to be the same. Now it's his time to get paid. So will Canelo still want that rematch if he's looking at half that money he made for this last fight going to Bivol? That might change his attitude. We'll see. I'm done.
Yeah, go ahead, Gonzalo.
Oh, thanks, Mucho. Sorry. As far as you recalibrating to stay in the division on seeing what he can do different, you see, the thing, he's having to load up and throw everything with power just to stay competitive with the naturally larger guys. He's not budging them like he's budging the 68 and the 60 pounders, just to barely stay where you can box on equal terms and make a statement as you're punching against a guy that can just release his hands like a Bivol and land equally as hard on you. Well, him not even really loading on his shots makes him do you really give him a chance in the rematch? What can he do different? I don't think, man, it plays out well for him, even though they come up with a different strategy.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, what else can this guy do? Already, the size difference starting to get. It's starting to become really apparent. Canelo's 5'8". Some even say 5'7". I don't think he's 5'9" at all. And even that size for a middleweight is kind of small. There's very few middleweights that are that height. I mean, Hagler was 5'8" or 5'9". Correct me if I'm wrong, but he was short, but he was an exceptional talent. Canelo is really a middleweight if you think about it. He fought certain opponents that made him look better than what I think he is, and he went over everybody's heads, especially after he beat Kovalev.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, this guy can compete against Beterbiev and Bivol. I mean, no, man. Kovalev was a good pick, man, at the right time, and we saw what happened. He stopped the guy, but to believe that Canelo is a light heavyweight because of that win is erroneous. It's wrong.
I agree with you.
Yeah, he's too small. He's fucking small. And after the fight, of course, he's gonna say that. He's a prideful guy. He's gonna say that he wants a rematch. He's thinking about it. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure, but I think that his team is probably telling him, forget about this light heavyweight division. Let's just go back down to 168. There's a lot of good fights down there, and we're more certain that you can win at 168 and 175.
Hey, by the way, can I say, One Foot Out the Door says. Hold on a second. Say One Foot Out the Door says the judges gave Canelo 5 rounds. Yeah, he were trying to fuck him over. And then he says, is Bivol's docking Errol's pants now? That's gonna be. Apparently, I heard. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. Hey, by the way, shout out to Texas Bulldog for his contribution with the super chat. He says, Canelo losing is good for boxing. Clean out your division and give the fans the correct fights. Can't spell legacy without an L. And Floyd is superior. No debate. Well, I don't understand why Floyd has to do with this. I mean, he never took a bigger risk as this one, but shout out to Texas Bulldog. But yeah, you know what? This brings me to a good point here about... I know a lot of people hate Canelo. Lord knows I have my issues with the guy. But these people are enjoying his defeat. At a certain point, one loss doesn't define a person's career. And I think that's why we see a lot of these fighters not taking risks. Because precisely of this type of behavior, that thinking that one loss is the end of the world. Look, Canelo, and I said this before the fight, Bivol can't get the decision. Because if they would have robbed Bivol, right now things would have been much worse for Canelo. People would be on top of getting on top of getting the worst of it in the ring, and then getting a gift. That's like your mom coming to rescue you when you're fighting in the school ground or in the playground. So, you know what I mean? It's so I think so when people go, well, you know, the loss, it's not the end of the world. He'll go back down. He'll beat somebody else. 2 good wins, and boom, he's back in his fans' good graces. It's not the end of the world, fellas. So Canelo fans, they should take some comfort in that and just write out the hate from his that people are throwing at him.
This is gonna be ridiculous. A lot of people are bringing Floyd into this conversation because I guess they're Floyd fans and they like to compare Floyd with Canelo because Canelo did become the face of boxing just as maybe Floyd was, and I say maybe because you can make a good argument that Pacquiao was also the face of boxing at that time, right? So I think it's pretty sad that because Canelo lost, and they're already like all of a sudden now he's a step below Floyd. The type of challenges that Canelo has taken are things that Floyd never did. You know what I mean? I mean, we wanted to see Floyd against a tall guy like Margarito, and we never got that fight because Floyd all of a sudden retired. He retired at the right time, you could say, and then he makes a comeback. Then he doesn't even fight Margarito; he fights Cotto, who had already lost later on. So I mean, I don't want to go on and on about this, but again, Canelo took challenges that Floyd never did, man.
Hey, but by the way, can I say something real quick? The blame trick says he's supposed to have like 4 or 5 losses already, to be honest. Yeah, that's true. He already has a loss technically to Golovkin. So, I mean, these people that are capping.
Yeah, losses are not. That's the thing. If you're looking at losses, man, then you're in the wrong sport. This isn't. I don't know what sport you're trying to watch. This is boxing, man. You're gonna get losses. Muhammad Ali, who says they claim he's the greatest of all time. How many losses did he have? Like 5, 6, or something like that? Come on.
Oh yeah. Sugar Ray Robinson had double digits, and he's the greatest of all time. That's why, you know what it is? The Floyd knew he wasn't going to try to unify, right? So he and his propagandist, Ellaby, who's just embarrassing himself on Twitter. That dude needs to shut up. He sounded like an old boomer weirdo. But anyways, that was they propagandized the 50-0, when there was a shit ton of fighters who already did it. So that's the reason why it's not a criteria or something. There's a wing in the Hall of Fame for the O's. It doesn't exist because nobody gives a fuck. And it only became a thing for Floyd and his fans to hold on to, because what else are they going to say? He never unified a division. That's a big thing. He never did certain criterias. Yes, he was an all-time great, absolutely an all-time great defensive fighter. But in the big scheme of things, Ring Magazine, which they use, they don't even have him in their top 25. Yeah. So,
look, right? I mean, if somebody wants to bring up that he fought a big De La Hoya 154, I mean, that De La Hoya wasn't the same De La Hoya as, he wasn't a prime De La Hoya. This is a prime Bivol. That's what people are trying to ignore. This is a prime Bivol.
Look at De La Hoya when he moved. Look at De La Hoya when he moved up to fight Stern. He struggled mightily. No, man, Canelo's gonna be all right. It's the curse of the pink zebra stripe pajamas. He was flying too high. He needs to get a little bit, where he's not thinking so highly of himself and go back to like playing his craft in the gym.
Oh, I wanted to Gonzalo,
you're wearing a $10,000 pair of Quiet Riot pants. You know what I mean?
He's like a woman, this dude. But I wanted to mention something. Gonzalo brought up a good point. I want to touch upon that, but shout out to Tyrese Bui. Is that how you say his name? Tyrese Bui. He says, Lara would have done that to Floyd, in my opinion. Well, maybe. I don't know. Like, Lara was a hot and cold fighter, so you never know which version was going to show up. But, I mean, look, Mayweather never went up to middleweight. Cotto did. And he beat Martinez. You can't call yourself the TBE, the best ever, and not take those type of risks. So shout out to Tyrese Bui.
I think Floyd was too small for 160. I don't think that. I mean, he started at 130, right? De La Hoya as well, but De La Hoya is taller. But Floyd at 154, he should have done more, in my opinion. I believe he only had 2 fights at 154, Cotto and De La Hoya, but those were former welterweights, if you think about it. So I would have liked to see Floyd against a really big guy, a natural 154. Really just a big guy, but that never happened. I mean, there was a Paul Williams fight that people were interested in. He never fought Paul Williams either.
Bucho, don't forget, man, Mayweather kind of looked the same size as Canelo when they fought. So when people say
absolutely, that's what I've been saying all along, man. You look at the fight. Where was this major size difference, man? It wasn't like he was fighting a huge guy that was going to put pressure on Floyd, and he was going to put him on the ropes and stuff. And Floyd had to, he was going to need to use his feet to move around and use his IQ. He really didn't need any of those. Canelo wasn't that big, and then he was. I don't
want to get into the Floyd thing. Fuck Floyd. He's not even fighting.
Mr. BDA, just want to mention.
Yeah.
That yesterday also someone mentioned Eddie Reynoso and whether or not he was kind of overrated, and were the decisions, the information that he gave Canelo in between rounds, was it a good information or not?
Well, listen, from my point of view is a guy can only say, he could have been, like Jimmy likes to say, he could have been in there with Eddie Fudge. I don't think it would have made a lick of a difference. I mean, you got to give Bivol credit. Too big, too fast, too good. It wasn't going to be Canelo's night, and I think a rematch. Look, never say never, but I doubt that Canelo could do something that much different in the rematch. Whether it's changing
but the
trainers.
Advice also, they also claim because if you look at Eddie Reynoso, he also apparently gave terrible advice or bad advice to Valdez. But then you can say the same thing, no, Mr. BDA. Like there's nothing really that Valdez could have done against Shakur.
Well, I mean, he could have gone all out against Shakur, but even then, I think Stevenson would have been able to absorb the shots. I think Steve, like I said, change trainers. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. But you know what, man?
But what do you do, BDA? So you go in there like having no hope that you gotta tell this guy something differently because you think you can't. He was missing the intensity that he had showed in prior, like when he was on the corner telling him to do like other things against like Golovkin.
Oh yeah,
right now
that's true.
He just said. He said, keep going to the shoulders. And he was already pretty much decided that he was going to do that when he was doing his film studies, probably in his house in San Diego, kicking back in the couch. Now you're there in real time and you're not willing to change that up, right? Tell him to go to, because look, BDA, yeah. he got 5 rounds. Imagine if he wasted half of those punches going to the shoulders. If he just goes to the head and he might miss some, but land and kind of like snap Bivol's head back every now and then, do you not think that they would give him one more round, then he gets the draw?
You know what, Gonzalo, that's a good point. Yeah, it's true because in terms of the urgency, Reynoso just kept going, ¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Cómo te sientes? Okay, we got 3 rounds left, he kept saying. But he never told him, like I remember when Nacho Berenstein was training Rafael Marquez, Juan Manuel's brother, and he had his big fight with Tim Austin, and he kept saying, Marquez wasn't doing shit. He'd hurt Austin before, and then just stopped throwing shots, and I think 5 rounds later, Berenstein made the point. He started screaming at him. He goes, well, not screaming, but he was talking with urgency. We're losing the fight. What are you doing? When you let your hands go, you can hurt the guy. What are you doing? And what did Marquez do in the next round? He opened up. He got hurt, but then he ended up taking Tim Austin out of there. So it's true. Sometimes, especially a guy that knows his fighter the way Reynoso does with Canelo, you got to put a little pedal to the metal there, a little light of fire under his ass. And he never really did that. Just, ¿Cómo te sientes? How do you feel?
Or BD, I remember, what's it, Chavez versus Taylor. The guy, Cristobal Rosas, used to tell him, he told him in the 12th round, hey, do it for your kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Chavez said he was so fucking tired, but that did light. I think he said that it lit him up. It motivated him to do that. And by the way, I want to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. I want to talk about, because I know we're all talking about Canelo, because look, he was the A side here, and we got to talk about him at first instead of Bivol. But we're going to get to Bivol and what he can do at light heavyweight now, what's next for him. But I wanted to bring something up, a little pet peeve of mine, if you will. These fucking entrances, these lavish entrances, they gotta stop. These grandiose entrances, they start playing mariachi music. Then Canelo finally comes out, and there's dancers. Then he steps on a platform that rises. He just stands there for a good 2 minutes. Then he goes down, he gets off it, and he starts walking back to the ring. I'm thinking, what the fuck was that? What's the point of that? I get Canelo. It's his time. It's his moment. He wants to make the most of it. But I remember when we were watching Rocky IV and Apollo Creed went in there. Apollo Creed went into the ring with that lavish entrance. It was supposed to be satirical, like that would never happen, that this guy was such a showman that he would make a circus out of it. Now this is what it's turning into in real life.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to complain. They need to stop this. I think they believe that the people at the arena, even the viewers watching at home, they want to see this. They want to see some sort of show and an entertainment entrance and stuff like a flamboyant type of shit. No, we don't. When we pay for this fucking pay-per-view, man, we just want to see the guy step into the ring and fight. Just walk towards the ring like Mike Tyson did, and that's it. You know what I mean? Don't fucking do this shit. It's ridiculous. They even had a little stage where he, like, Canelo went up there, said hi to the people, and then went back down. And it's like, what is this shit?
And also the introduction was like really embellished, and I think Bucho said something about it. He sounded like Michael Buffer's brother, the guy that sounds like he wants to take a shit, when he's talking, when he's introducing the guys.
Bruce Buffer.
That shit was fucking overboard. It was fucking too embellished, man.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It was Diamante was turning into Bruce Buffer, not Michael Buffer. Bruce Buffer, the UFC dude that screams like a maniac. Like Gonzalo said, he looks like he's gonna fucking have a prolapse anus or something. They need to keep it classy, man. This is boxing. Listen, I got nothing against MMA. I like MMA, but they get their own brand of doing things over there. More rock and roll, heavy metal thing. This is supposed to be a little bit more classy, a little classier. What do you think, Jimmy? You're old school.
Well, I'm starting to kind of think maybe Canelo threw this fight.
Oh, come on. No, but seriously, what do you think about the entrances?
Funny we haven't heard that this time, right? Every time he wins, there's always a contingency of people calling saying that, oh, it looked like that fight might have been fixed. And I didn't hear anybody say that last night, right?
That's out the window. I don't even that's narrative doesn't even make sense now. I just want to give a shout out to Disturb Reality Delbo in the chat, who says a good point. David Diamante, the announcer, is awful. Listen, I think the guy has a good voice for announcing, but that line that he says, let's the fight. What's it?
Let's rock and roll.
Oh. Let's not. Anyways, He's like, the fight starts now. It reminds me of the UFC with Bruce Buffer, and I think it's terrible. I think it's a bit trashy. That's what made boxing classy was like Michael Buffer wearing a suit and shit, and then just the way he said, "Let's get ready to rumble." You know what I mean? He wasn't getting, let the fight start now. Like, it's so fucking trashy, man. They need to change that right now, man.
And he was el hijo de Guadalajara, the country of like the Italian, and the chickens and the roosters or whatever.
Hey, this is what the announcers are gonna start sounding like at some point.
It's like the drill instructor announcer doesn't work. Like, did you guys hear what I said? What the fuck? Like, I was waiting for him to jump in the stand and grab a guy. I'm ready.
That's true, but yeah, the drill instruction announcing. Yeah, it's look, he's a good announcer. Don't get me wrong, but he needs to. It's everyone tries to make it about themselves.
The delivery thing, that line, I don't know what you call it. The intro, how do you call it? That has to change, man.
Everybody wants a catchphrase, like, let's get ready to rumble. Like Mike Buffer, he actually he patented that motherfucker. That's the reason why you ain't going to hear anybody else saying it. They'd have to pay him. but I mean, everybody wants it. But like Jimmy, well, I can't remember his last name now, on Showtime. Remember, it's Showtime. But he lost that when he announces for DAZN or when he does for HBO.
Right.
So
yeah, he has to see it's fight time, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, but yeah, listen, that's just a little pet peeve of ours. Hey, but this is beyond a pet peeve. The fact that they omitted the Russian national anthem is disgraceful. Again, going back to Rocky IV, a friend of mine told me this. He asked me, "Hey, did Canelo fight last night?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Did they really omit the Russian anthem?" Because he heard about that. I said, "Yeah, man." He goes, "Oh, this is the inverse of Rocky IV. It's the Americans are the ones that are disrespectful. It's not the Russians." I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I tripped out too, BDA, when they said from Indio, California. Like, who the fuck is this? Bivol's from Indio, California.
Yeah, yeah, he's a native of Indio, California. He sure looks like it, man.
Yo, did they say that? They didn't mention Russia at all?
No, Bivol was pretty pissed about it too. After he said, "What's to be expected from this vile, benign, shitty country?" And I was like, I agree with them.
He said that? He could call it a shitty country?
No, he didn't. That kid's too fucking kind. He's too nice. He smiles at everybody. Oh, yeah, he hurt my arms, but no, he never hurt me.
Oh, you got me with that one. You got me with that one. This vile shitty country.
He did want to play the A side. No, he said, "Oh, you want a rematch? Well, we'll see." Like in broken Russian, we'll see. You know, if they offer me something good, I'll take it.
Yeah, there was none of the if he dies, he dies. You know what I mean? He's not that type of Russian.
Hey, the other thing I wanted to bring up here is Canelo. I think he tried to fucking. You remember when he picked Bivol up? He tried to toss him off his shoulder.
Frustration.
Yeah, but the fact that, okay, you want to pick the guy up, I get it, but he tried to toss him off his shoulder. That would have fucking, if he would have hurt Bivol, that's a no contest or disqualification. Well, I don't know if they would have disqualified Canelo, but no contest. Like, he would have ruined the fight. What the fuck?
Yeah, they can disqualify.
Yeah,
they could have disqualified.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Say if he flipped him over and it was obviously intention, you know, and he landed like on his neck, is like, yeah, he tried to kind of backwards souffle him, like flip him onto his head over his back. So, if he landed wrong and kinked his neck or hurt his arm, oh, absolutely. If it happens in the flow of a fight and you go over somebody, but that wasn't the case. He was over top of him, so out of frustration, Canelo wanted to flip him like fucking it was usual suspects. He'll flip you. He'll flip you.
He'll flip. I mean, I've seen him pick up guys before. I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Cotto or I forget. But this time he tried. I saw him try to shove him back, toss him over his shoulder. That would have been. And again, when I say that they wouldn't have disqualified Canelo, I mean they. Like, obviously they should, but what I'm saying is maybe they wouldn't have, you know what I mean? Like, the officials would have made it a no contest or something, I don't know, to try to protect him. But he definitely, I think he did try to toss him over his shoulder. That shit is disgusting, man.
Yeah, and now, like, you can see that the signs of frustration that he kind of put a little on display that we kind of didn't know is like a gray area against Caleb Plant, whether is he frustrated or not, because he's kind of getting like red like a tomato, like he did against Austin Trout back in the day. Now we know that that's true. When they put him against Bivol, a guy that can crack some more. Yeah, he's fit. He's fucked. He's really visibly frustrated. For sure.
Oh, yeah, he definitely was. He definitely was, man. Shout out to Chris K for his contribution to the super chat. He says Saul Cabeza de Piñata Alvarez needs to get back on the carne especial. Triple G might have slightly better chance in a rematch. I've said, well, I don't want to get into that, I told you so, but Triple G, that rubber match would still be highly competitive. That's for sure. But I don't know if it happens now. Is it going to happen now? Or?
Just one thing. I was watching ESPN Spanish and they mentioned, someone said something interesting that if Canelo goes back down in weight and fights Golovkin, who's 40 years old, and beats him, he won't get any credit because he just lost to Bivol, and then he beats a 40-year-old. It wouldn't be that impressive. So the guy suggested that Canelo, if he goes back down in weight, he should fight David Benavidez.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
who's in his prime.
Yes, I agree. I think he should go down there and just to take off, because again, and on top of that, it just needs to shut up a bunch of people. I mean, what are the people going to complain about if he beats Benavidez and Charlo? What the fuck are people going to say? Oh, actually, some dude, I don't know if you guys saw it, I posted. Now they got that guy Chris Marshall, I think's his name. He's always tweeting ridiculous things, and he said that Spence now he knows Spence can go up to 160 and beat him after what he saw.
Do you think that some of these fighters that didn't want to fight Canelo or not? No, I don't. Okay, do you believe that some fighters now think that they have more of a chance of beating Canelo because of what they saw yesterday night?
Yeah, the blueprint is out, man. I think Canelo, he can break somebody down fairly quickly. He'll empty out your gas tank, but as you can see, you can also empty out his gas tank if you go to his body. Then he starts getting tired. So if you can resist, if you can hold him off, then you can just start applying more pressure and keep him off you. But then start breaking him down. He starts feeling that.
Yeah, that's a good point. And if the person's built, if he's the same size, skill set, moves, if you want to use that blueprint, if you're the same build and fight that way, but there's nothing that Bivol did that someone like Charlo is going to do to exploit Canelo. You know what I mean? He doesn't hit. He's 160. His punches, believe me, he doesn't hit as hard as Bivol or as accurate, and his footwork is, just really not there. So, what is he going to do? What did he see that he could capitalize on is my question.
Well, you know what, man? In regards to Spence fighting Canelo, if Spence ever fought Canelo, his punches would have no effect on Canelo the same way Canelo's had little effect on Bivol's. That's what would happen. And then these people
Shooting a fucking elephant with a BB gun. Fuck out of here.
And then the Spence fans would say the same thing Canelo fans are saying now. Well, he dared to be great. He took a chance. Like, fuck off. We don't want to see Canelo Spence. It's a welterweight against a light heavyweight. What's the matter with you, momos?
A cash grab. That's all it is. It's not a dare to be great. It's a dare to get paid. It's a big fucking difference.
Well, now that
because if Canelo would have won, we all know he would have tried to unify. You know, if he beat Bivol, he would have taken that Beterbiev fight and try to fucking unify the division. If somebody jumps up for a cash grab, they're not going to try to unify that division. It's just, listen, it's not dare to be great when you're jump frogging over people that you've been avoiding the best in your own division for years.
Exactly, man. I mean, listen,
by the way,
yeah.
Somebody yesterday also mentioned that Canelo's unification run at 168 will be overshadowed by Spence's unification. If he beats Crawford, obviously, unification at welterweight.
Well, if he beats Crawford, I would agree with that. But he's yet to do it, so we're just talking hypothetically.
Well, that's the only win. Because that's a pound for pounder win. Like Canelo never beat a pound for pounder at 168.
That's true. Well, there were no. Yeah,
neither has Spence at this point.
No.
You know what I mean? But like you said, if he beats Crawford, then yeah, we can start talking about that.
What's Spence's best win? Real quick, you'd have to say probably maybe Brook in England when he went over to England. You know,
yeah, and
that's even a question mark because and that was even after Brook had his face smashed by Triple G. So after that, you'd say Porter, but Porter he went life and death with. Some people even had him losing. And that's the same guy that Crawford starts. So in DSG, I just get him flabbergasted when people try to list that dude as an elite fucking welterweight. That's a joke.
No.
Yeah, I think his best win is Sean Porter. But listen, he's got plenty on his plate at 147. I don't even know why people were talking about 160. Now, on to Bivol, the man of the night. The thing is, now what's next for him? Because here's the thing. Look, if you look at the ratings here, I don't even know who this Mathieu Bauderlic is from France. Then you got Joshua Boatsy, but I don't know if he's ready. Anthony Yarde looked good in his rematch against I forgot the other dude's name. He looked good because he became more aggressive, which was what usually guys want to see from a guy in a rematch. Be more aggressive if the first time didn't work out. But he's too rudimentary for Bivol. He doesn't have the seasoning. Marcus Brown already got the crap kicked out of him by Beterbiev. Callum Smith against Bivol, I think wouldn't you guys agree that he would get outmaneuvered, or what do you think?
Yes. Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
I think
Zudo.
Benavidez should move up and start chasing those titles. He would make a name for himself, and it would be two speed demons, with good length, and it would be a good match. Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
Zurdo, is he still fighting at 168, or did he move up to 175?
Well, he's going to fight Bozo next week, or Bozo, whatever the guy's name is.
Bozo? Yeah. Might as well.
175, Jimmy.
175. Okay, so there's a possible matchup. Maybe he can, because isn't he fighting with the Zone now, or who's he with?
He's with the Zone, I think.
The Zone. That's going down next week on the 14th.
So there's a fight they could make. They could make that fight if Zurdo does. I mean, he's the reason why he was blown out of Top Rank is he refused to take the fights that they offered him.
Yeah, you know what, man?
If I'm Canelo's team, I put out a campaign to emphasize that it was a mistake to go to 175 and that he will never go to 175 again. And, just stay at 168, start beat everybody at 168 and stay over there. But just make sure that, because a lot of people are they want to make you believe that Canelo has lost some stock because he lost to Bivol. So you need to clean that up, that image, that idea, man. You need to fucking do something about it, man.
Actually, if you think about it, that the fact that he went the distance with Bivol and didn't get knocked out, because I think that Bivol might have been close to. If he would have upped the pressure, he could have probably stopped Canelo. But the fact that Canelo got that experience and went the distance, it doesn't reflect that bad on Canelo. Because the dude is naturally bigger. He lets his hands go, speed and power. Man, Canelo did pretty good in that regard, but he got outboxed, though.
Hey, by the way, fellas, we're going to be opening the phone lines in about 10-15 minutes, so make sure to stick around for that. In regards to and hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. In regards to the Ramirez fight, they could play up the Mexican angle for sure, like the Mexican revenge angle. But Ramirez is too... I mean, if you don't give him a target, he just doesn't let his hands go. He would have to go all
Yeah,
out against Bivol.
Yeah, he's too clunky. He's like real robotic, and he got a tough chin because I know the fighter that he faced caught him with the headbutt right on the chin, on the tip of the chin, and the dude he fucking ate it like nothing. Like he's solid. He's a big dude, but he's kind of like I don't know, man. He's kind of rudimentary. The same thing you said about Callum Smith. That's what Chulo Ramirez is.
Can I just change topic? Comment in the chat. A Parker says y'all don't have the same energy for Canelo as y'all do Spence.
I don't know what that means.
What does that mean? Why doesn't he call the show and explain that?
Well, let him call in because I don't understand what he's writing, and that's not English. But
no, I mean, if you're saying, Spence is doing what he should be doing at 147. I mean, you can even make an argument that he's a big 147 pounder. Now, I'm not taking any credit away from Spence, but he's in his weight division.
I don't even know what. Yeah,
Canelo isn't.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Can I just add one thing to that real quick? Keep the same energy. Let's take I'm going to say, let's take opinion out of it, right? My opinion, your opinion. Let's look at the facts. If he's been doing what the fans want, if he fought that Crawford fight, maybe his popularity and marketability wouldn't have plummeted like his pay-per-view numbers. Your numbers don't go down when you're giving the fans what they want to see. And the fact that the biggest fight of his career, Ugas, did the lowest pay-per-view numbers tells you everything. Well, I give Spence shit because he hasn't cleared out his own division, never mind jumping to be great. So that's why I don't keep him the same energy, because they're completely two different fighters. And Spence, out of his own mouth last year, said that he'd be ready. He's satisfied. He'd walk away from boxing right now with no regret with what he's accomplished. So it's night and day what the two guys have accomplished.
Just quickly, by now Spence should be at 154, man. He should have already fought Crawford, claimed the division maybe, and then moved on to 154. Maybe even think 160. I mean, he's the same age as Canelo, I believe.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're right. I don't even know why we're addressing this. Look, if I can't understand your writing in the chat, I'm not going to fucking address you. Call in. It's better.
Well, I addressed it because you read this. I thought that's what you wanted us to do, but oops.
I didn't address it. Anyway, shout out to... sorry.
One demerit for Jimmy. One demerit.
I'll go sit in the corner.
No, I didn't say anything. I was just saying because I was talking about Bivol here and his potential matchups. Look, Joe Smith, he already beat him. So what the fuck? By the way, Joe Smith and Beterbiev have to fight. The only logical fight here is Beterbiev Bivol. And in regards to if anyone thinks, wow, Bivol's gonna outbox Beterbiev was outboxing Gvozdyk. He didn't just beat him up because he was stronger. He outboxed the guy too. So who would you guys pick in that one if it happened tomorrow?
Beterbiev versus Bivol?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's that. I think I'll pick Bivol.
Yeah, me
Master
too.
of the distance.
Whoa.
Yep. Because of the legs, brother. Because of age. If Beterbiev was 34 or prime, that'd be a different story. I'd have to indulge into it a little bit more and really look at it. But right now, I don't think those 40, and I know he's 39 or whatever, but 40, it's as far as I'm concerned, by the time they got in the ring. And that would make all the difference in the world. It's the legs. The legs are going to that's his best attribute, his footwork and his balance. At any time, even when he missed, the few occasions that he threw a punch and missed, did he knock himself off balance the way Canelo was? And that's another thing about Canelo. Surprised me how he never changed his punches up. Everything had bad intentions. And another thing he did was turn his hands over like never before. Like you see when he was punching him in the arms, how much he was turning his hands over. A la like Triple G when he hit Rubio in the top of the head, really turned his hand over. Like you see him actually doing that more now when he punches, conducive to power punching.
And I was impressed with Bivol, something that I hadn't watched because I watched a lot of his fights leading to yesterday's fight. The high guard, he was kind of like emulating what Canelo was doing as far as like catching the punches on the gloves. Now, if he takes that to the table versus Beterbiev, he can also soak up a lot of punishment, but then he got the legs, like you said, Jimmy, master of the distance and change it up on Beterbiev.
Interesting. So, so then that brings me to another question for you guys. Who can beat Bivol then? If not Beterbiev, then can anybody really out there take this guy out?
It's like you. I think you mentioned that BDA that the best fighters are the ones that really don't blow up higher away from like their natural weight. And I think this guy is one of those guys. He's not a big light heavyweight, so the possibility for him to go up to cruiserweight is probably not like something that you would think about. So at that division, he's probably better than everybody else. And I don't think that nobody aside from maybe better BF can give him a challenge.
Exactly.
And,
I concur.
And one last thing, and maybe like I said, if Benavidez moves up, because look, let's be real, Benavidez is like a fucking cruiserweight, but he'll probably be long and he'll be okay at 75, and he's a speed demon too, so he might give him a run for his money.
Interesting. You know what? If Zurdo went in there and let his hands go and just hit whatever he tried to hit whatever he could, maybe he'd have a chance. But that, from what I've seen, that's not what he does. He likes a guy to stand right in front of him so he can, he likes a punching bag. But again, Beterbiev, he has to get past Joe Smith Jr. first. And that, we don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, he's better than Smith, that's for sure, but Smith can crack something awful. So I suppose we'll see what happens there with that one. By the way, did any of you guys catch the undercard? I missed the whole thing.
I saw some. I just, it's amazing to me how DAZN can come up with so many guys that I've never heard of.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
No, but it was really boring. I think Montana Love fought. He fought a guy that Cepeda had beat, and they dropped each other twice. But after that, it was like uneventful. The fight was boring. Yeah.
Interesting, man.
That's on Canelo, man. When you want to take the big lion's share of that fucking money, that negates your undercards. That always happens when they take the big lion's share. They don't have the money to spread it around to pay these guys better.
Wouldn't it be an investment? Yeah, but Canelo has so much pull. Like he doesn't care, I guess. But wouldn't it be smart for you as Canelo, being Canelo, to invest in a good undercard? So that,
yes, and usually a fighter at his stature, Bucho, especially when they reach that level, because Canelo has his own promotional company now, right? And you would think at this point, with the money he has, and who his name is in the game, that he would maybe have a couple of young guys that he'd want, maybe sign to or whatever, and just give them some spots. But yeah, you would think if he was serious about going into promotion, if that was going to be his game when he leaves and retires, you would think he would start doing that. But he definitely needs to step up his undercards, because I'm getting tired of buying fucking. I'm not going to pay pay-per-views if there's just one good fight.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was like 4 bimbos like right at ringside lined up that you're watching your screen. You see these 4 chicks just talking and looking at each other, not paying attention to the fights because they're boring. And then kind of that led to like where the main event, you could see them talking, not even paying attention to the Canelo fight. It really took away from the atmosphere.
Yeah, they were on their phones and shit. Like, what was that all about?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you didn't expect a couple of broads to be interested in. But look, listen, it's seldom will you find a woman that's actually interested in sport. Well, for them, it's a night out. For those broads, at least, the ones that we saw, it was a night out. It was, hey, we're going to be in the front row. We're going to post this on Instagram. We're going to be the life of the party. And it's like, they didn't give a shit. I do wonder who they were with. Because
they have money, because those seats are at least $2,500 a pop, or at least they're not sucking dick for beer money.
Oh, right.
Those are expensive seats.
Yeah, I think maybe somebody comped them for them or something. It's. You're right, Jimmy. It's. I don't think they paid for them. And by the way, fellas, phone lines are open. Phone lines are open. Number is right there in the middle left hand portion of your screen. So make sure to call in.
But you have to hit like. We won't take your call unless you hit the like button.
Hey, you know what? We should really do that. But yeah, we should. Did you hit the like? If not, you can call in. I don't know how we can verify that, but that would be a good idea, man.
Ryan took his digs at Canelo.
If they have a YouTube page, we'll go look.
Yeah.
What?
Ryan took his digs at Canelo. He sent a tweet. I'm a human too. I thought that he said something like real like negative against Canelo.
Well, I
did that.
Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, during the fight, they showed a tweet from Garcia saying Canelo's losing the fight, but I didn't know he said that. Hold on, let me check his Instagram. I mean, his Twitter. I'm actually a little afraid of checking out Ryan Garcia's Twitter. I never know what I'm going to find in there. Okay. Oh, yeah. Apparently people...
Video.
Was
that?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Some people are saying... apparently people are attacking him on Twitter. And he says, some of you are thinking I disrespected Canelo. He's a legend and a great fighter. I simply gave an honest assessment of the fight. I gave props to Bivol. What is some of you on about? You know what? I actually emphasize with Ryan Garcia. I know what it's like to talk, be here broadcasting, and people hear what you're saying, but they're not exactly listening, and they make up their own narratives in their heads. But
What did he say, brother? Could you read his tweet, if possible?
You mean the one where he supposedly criticized Canelo?
Yes, they're calling him criticized.
Well,
I want to hear that.
It's difficult to find out. Okay, let me see. Okay, there's one where he said Canelo lost fairly easy. Only way I see Bivol losing is if the judges decide to steal it from him. You can't win just hitting the arms. They aren't scoring blows. And then he said, "Congratulations, Bivol. You're a great, dedicated, and disciplined fighter. Great performance." Yeah, that's all he said.
Oh, there was two more where he takes digs at Canelo, but if you can't find them, I understand because
maybe he deleted them.
There's a lot of shit out there.
And why is punching? Why don't they score those? A body punch is a body punch. If you hit someone, the judge sees you put contact on them. It's supposed to count. Whether how much they, you know what I mean, think that affects the round. Am I going to give them the round off those punches? Maybe not. But they're still scoring blows when you punch a body. It's a body punch.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean. The fucking shots on the arms; those aren't scoring blows.
Well, my theory that the White Reynoso tells Canelo to do that. Yeah, he want to bust the body up. He want to break them down, like going to the shoulders. But at the same time, it's easier to hit. So you miss less, and at least you're touching something. So by default, like, oh yeah, I don't want you to miss to the head. At least put your punches where I'm gonna break you down, as opposed to you missing and getting countered. So it kind of comes with like that too, man. Don't you think it's because don't you think because he's just like, oh yeah, I want to break you down? No, it's because at least you want to hit him and fucking not miss all the time.
Yeah, because he doesn't have that kind of power. He doesn't have, like, Rocky Marciano would do that, but you know what I mean. He punched so hard by the fucking third and fourth round, you could barely keep your arms up to protect your head. That's the reason why he did it. And I thought Canelo might have been doing it to slow him down, like slow his snaps off his punches. It's just, you know what I mean. And the same way he was. Did you see him punching his hip a lot? You see him throw. I never saw him target hip bones in the side the way he was punching Bivol like that.
Well, he caught
the hip bone.
He caught Mayweather. Mayweather, one of the punches that he complained that Canelo landed was a hip punch. So he's done that before.
It's a smart thing to do if you can get away with it, if the ref's on the other side of you, because if you give someone a hip flexor, that slows them down. But you got to catch him just right.
Yeah, if he ever fights Errol Spence, go to the hip. All right, because of the car accident.
All right, well, listen, fellas, we got to take a couple of phone calls here. They're piling up, so make sure when you call in. Up. Yeah, make sure when you call in, make sure you're close to your microphone, phone, whatever. Make sure you speak loudly and clearly. Make your point clearly, please, succinctly, because we do have a lot of phone calls. So we can't have a conversation with you back and forth. So just make your point, and we move on to the next one. And if I hang up on you before saying goodbye or whatever, don't take it personally, because I got to move on to the next call. All right, let's go to... Oh, and refrain from salty language, please. That would be great. Let's go to 337. You're on the air. 337. What's on your mind?
What's happening, family? How we doing this morning?
Fantastic. Hope you're doing well yourself, man. What's up?
This is Dead Game, man. Just wanted to chop it up with y'all this morning.
Oh.
Let y'all know, man. Canelo, man. Got frustrated. Looked like he wanted to quit. Tried to flip the man over his back. Tried to throw the fight. Was looking around, backing up with his hands down, just taking shots, backing up, trying to slip punches with his hands down. Not good, man. Not good. Eddie Reynoso, man, he forgot to put in the mouthpiece in Vidal's mouth last week. And this week, he just looked like trash, bro. Eddie Reynoso looked like trash, too. Yeah, man, it was just a poor performance. Bivol surprised me. Too big, too strong, too tall, too good. And he wasn't scared of Canelo. That's the problem. People be scared of Canelo. But he had no fear, and he walked Canelo down, man. It was beautiful.
It certainly was a good performance, probably the performance of the night for him. I mean, of his life for the moment, unless he beats Beterbiev. Hey, let me ask you that again before we move on, man. Beterbiev versus Bivol, who would you pick in that one?
I'm gonna say, bro. I'm gonna say Beterbiev, just because I'm not gonna go by the age. I'm gonna go by what I've seen already and what I know. He's a grinder. He's a different man. So I like Beterbiev, bro. I think he's just a grinder, bro. So I think Beterbiev would just grind him out. I don't think Bivol can do that what he did, bro, to Beterbiev. He's just a bigger, stronger man.
All right.
I got Beterbiev in that.
Well, there you heard it from Dead Game himself. He doesn't lie. Dead Game, anything else you want to say before we move on?
Nah, man. Salute to y'all, bro. Salute to the chat. And I'll be back later another time, brother. Y'all, peace.
Fantastic. Good to hear from you, Dead Game. Take it easy, man. All right.
Peace out.
Take it easy. Yeah, that was Dead Game calling in. All right. Hold on a second. Let's go to... Who's next here? 951. You're on the air. 951. What's on your mind?
Boom Boom Guy, representing LDBC. What's going on, man?
What's up, Boom Boom? What's on your mind?
Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm pissed.
What?
Royally pissed. This was a horrible performance. It looked like the freshman team was playing the varsity team. Canelo had no place in there at 175. He lost just as bad as his stablemate, Valdez. A couple weeks ago. It wasn't even close. Like, that's why they have weight classes. You don't belong in there. Everyone's praising Canelo. Oh, look what he's doing. No one moving up the way he's moving up. There's a reason. You've seen a naturally 175, if not bigger, guy fighting a guy who should still be at middleweight. You did not see a guy who had 22 title fights, a guy in Canelo Alvarez with his resume should not be getting whooped on like that. It was embarrassing.
So what do you think is next for Canelo?
Go ahead.
What do you think is next for Canelo?
Canelo needs to move down to 168. I think he should have went in order. He should have took over the 160 division. You know, and people always say, oh, why do people say Canelo's ducking? Why do you say he's ducking? Because he hasn't cleared the division before he moves on to the next division. We're not saying, oh, it's a guarantee if he fights those guys that we want him to fight, that he's going to lose automatically. We're saying these are the fights we want, you know, but the excuse was, oh, he's chasing legacy. He's moving up in weight. This bit him in the ass. So
hey, Boom Boom.
He needs to go down to 168.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you, man. That's a solid assessment. But I hate to do this, but somebody in the chat is saying, a guy named Drew is saying, ask Boom Boom if he still holds it against Triple G for not fighting light heavyweight Ward.
Oh, that was a fight. I mean, Triple G, that's one thing. Triple G never wanted to move up, or he stayed in place. But a lot of people ducked him in his I think his prime years. So that should have forced him to move up or, you know, move out of his comfort zone, but he didn't. That would be the only reason I would say, hey, you know, move out of that weight class because they're ducking you. But Triple G, he's still a legend. He beat Canelo the first fight, and I got to give props to Triple G, but Triple G, he's done. Go chase a money fight. Maybe Canelo, but Canelo whoops on Triple G. He's too old.
Yeah, at this point, I don't even know if the fight happens anymore, the rubber match. But anyway, listen, Boom Boom, we got to move on to other calls. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
Yeah, I just want to say, hey, LDBC, you know, we're going to take over. You know, I hear a lot of people, you know, clowning LDBC, but all the trolls aren't LDBC. So don't put us in one basket. You know, I like Canelo. I'm LDBC and I like Canelo. I feel like he didn't lose off of skill. He lost because he had no business in 175. Boom, boom, out.
All right. Shout out to Boom Boom.
Take it easy.
For his call. Take it easy, man. Have a good Sunday. Yeah, man. Hey, they better back it up, man. Step up, Nick. Ah, shit. That's the wrong
well, the thing is with Boom Boom, he's not representative of most LDBC or a lot of LDBC. He's more open-minded and whatever. He seems like a good dude, so that's cool.
I think he's trolling, man.
I'd say Canelo, when he was at 160, I think what happened is when he got prepared for the second fight with Triple G, I think that mass he put on, he realized it was he wasn't going to be able to stay at 160. he was going to be eating too much muscle, and when you do that, you run into the risk of fighting dry, and they never get your second win. So I think that's why he knew he had to go to 168. But again, he fought by far the toughest fighter at 160. So whether he unified it or regardless, he made an offer at the time when Charlo was there. He offered, didn't take it. He fought Triple G. He moved on, unified that division. Now let's see when he goes back down, if he takes on those guys and he fights them. And then, it is what it is. I'm done.
Yeah, we'll see. No, that's an interesting assessment right there, Jimmy. All right, let's go to a phone call here. And don't forget to hit the like button, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit that like. Really helps us out. In fact, we should be doing what Coach Malachi does, that if people don't get their likes up to a certain ratio or a certain number, then we don't take phone calls. That's what we should be doing. All right, let's go to, hold on a second. 678. You're on the air. 678. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Two quick things. Did you notice how fucking fat Reynoso got? When he was wearing that pink, I don't know what the fuck it was. His back looked like a turtle shell. It's like, I think that just proves his heart's not in it anymore. The Valdez, the mouthpiece, his weight, the money he has. Terrible advice. I think he's done, man. He's burnt out.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, trainers can get burnt out. Susay is this is Susay, right?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No, Susay. What's up, brother? You sound a little different right now. But yeah, no, you're 100% on the money. I think he could be burnt out. You get burnt out even as a trainer. Repetitive, a lot of the same bullshit.
He should do a celebrity boxing match with Bo McIntyre.
No.
You make me want to vomit.
Yeah, he was in horrible shape, man. I mean, Butcher said that before. He's like, how can you spend the whole day at the gym and not train a little bit? Like, hit the treadmill at least. That way you won't fuck up your knees. Or anyway, Soothsayer, what else, man? What else you got?
Yeah. Lastly, I'm a fight fan that likes to watch the pay-per-view from the beginning. So I like all the segments. I watch for the interviews. Listen, I don't want to see another black and Puerto Rican duo anymore. They have terrible fucking chemistry, and it was just awkward to watch.
Well, there you go. I never heard that one before. That the black and Puerto Ricans don't make for good.
It was terrible. Yeah, they were interviewing Canelo, and the Puerto Rican was trying to say something in Spanish, like "se encariñó" or something, and the black guy was like, "I don't speak Spanish, man. Speak English." It was fucking awkward.
I gotta watch that, man. All right, well, listen, Soothsayer, man. Thank you for your call, man. Call back. See you over at the Second Renaissance, man. All right?
Later.
Yeah.
All right, take it easy, man. All right, let's go to another phone call here. They're piling up. 240, you're on the air. 240, what's on your mind?
Hey, guys. First-time caller, long-time listener. I disagree with the caller earlier. He kind of said the story of the fight is Canelo not belonging at 75. A lot of people talk about like blueprints and stuff, and sort of on paper you think, well, it's not a blueprint. If he loses this fight, he went up to fight a great champion at 75, and if he loses, that's okay. He can go back to 168. He's still a king there. I disagree. I mean, I do think there was a blueprint here. I mean, I saw Bivol, when he got that fight into the center of the ring, he took a little. His footwork is great. Obviously, not everybody can execute it, but he took a little half step back, let Canelo throw his 1-2, and then answered and then countered. Every time the fight got into the center of the ring, Bivol was giving him a thorough outboxing. And if you guys think there aren't guys who, I mean, for you guys probably do, but I'm saying there's a lot of people out there who think that. Are there a lot of people out there that guys can't do that at 168? There's a few guys who can do that. I think Janibek can do that. I think there's a lot of fighters who can give Canelo a lot of problems at 168. I do think we kind of saw a blueprint last night. That's just my feeling.
Well, you know what? I think you got a point there. I think, like Gonzalo said, there's the stamina issues, there's the work rate issues. But at 175, one thing I will agree with is the punching power. Yeah, Bivol was able to handle that punching power, whereas other guys. But it might also be just that he's got very good defense too, very tight defense, and he was able to take it. So, I think a lot of what you're saying is right there, caller. Now, let me ask you this, man. Bivol Beterbiev, before we go, Bivol Beterbiev, who would you pick in that one?
Bivol. I think it looked a little bit like last night.
Whoa!
I think
that one-sided.
I think the legs are too good.
Interesting. Well, listen, caller, very good call, very good analysis.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, that's it. I'll listen to the other callers. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, thank you, man. Good call.
Hey, hit that like
Call back
button,
next.
brother.
Yeah, hit that like button, man.
I have done.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you, man.
Bro.
Take it easy, man.
Later.
All right, yeah. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to. Hold on a second. 480. You're on the air. 480. What's on your mind?
Hey, you got me?
Yes, indeed, sir. What's on your mind?
You got me? All right, thanks, guys. Couple points here. First of all, I think we as boxing fans are responsible for the state of the sport just as much as the fighters and the promoters with the way we treat each other and talk about the fighters and the sport. We lose objectivity when we insult each other, insult fighters, and nobody takes us seriously. So we lose our influence, if that makes any sense.
You mean the...
hey, fuck you, man.
No,
I'm just kidding. Yeah, he's got a point.
Yeah, you're saying it dilutes the opinion because the standards are so high or they're so skewed by negativity that you can't tell who's good and who's not.
Right, and when you're so disrespectful and you're not objective when you're assessing fighters and fights, people don't take you seriously. So I think we can all do better when it comes to that.
Well, I would agree with that, man. Yeah.
And as far as last night, I think if you pay close attention, it was, I'm not going to say easy to see coming, but you could see it coming because Bivol was a perfect combination of Floyd and Lara and both Triple G fights as the blueprint of how you beat Canelo. It's high volume, not being afraid to throw when he throws, controlling the distance, and most importantly, controlling the pace. Because all four of those L's for Canelo before last night, he gassed out. And that's been the blueprint for how to beat Canelo.
Well, that's an interesting take right there, caller. Interesting take, and good to hear from somebody that sounds level-headed and not just shitting on fighters. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
Trying to be. Are you talking to me?
Yeah, anything else you want to say before we move on?
Yeah, I think the Golovkin fight is still interesting, and you know, people hold him to this ridiculous standard of when he wins, he didn't win impressively enough, and he actually lost. And when he KO'd people, well, he should have KO'd him earlier because prime Triple G would have KO'd. I mean, it's like judge the guy by where he is now and what he's doing now. And if you're objective, you can see he's still clearly the best at 160, clearly a threat to Canelo. He's never gassed out. Canelo's the one who gassed out in their two fights, and it's still a good fight. And now after last night, I think it might happen.
All right. Well, that's an interesting take right there, caller. Good call, good analysis. Call back next time, right, man?
Thanks, guys.
Take it easy, man. All right, let's go. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. All right, let's go to 214. 214, you're on the air. 214, what's on your mind?
I just want to say congratulations to Bivol, man. He really did his thing last night, and really, in many ways, he showed that. To me, I've already called in and I said Bivol was going to win, and he just did the damn thing. He just had everything. He had the footwork, he had the volume, he had the jab, he had the good defense, and he just didn't let. And Canelo, he just didn't look good too. Like Bivol was on point and Canelo wasn't. I think Bivol's the better boxer, and I think he's also a bad style matchup for him. And the fact with not being a 75-pounder, it all comes together.
And I can indeed confirm that you did pick Bivol. I remember this call. So yeah, good for you, man. Now I'm asking everybody here the same thing. Bivol Beterbiev, who would you pick?
I don't know, man. I think Bivol can pull it off. And I want to say something else. I want to say something about Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia was not hating on Canelo. He's saying the same stuff we're saying in this chat. that he was hitting on his arms and that wasn't counting. And he gave Bivol his credit. He said, congratulations to Bivol. He didn't hate on him. But I think Ryan Garcia, he's in more danger than Canelo because he's got way more flaws than Canelo.
Oh, yeah.
So if he is coming from a hating perspective, man, his time is coming because this dude is a danger to himself.
Absolutely. He's a danger to himself and to everybody if he's not taking prep. That's a very useful drug for a guy that lives this type of lifestyle. But anyway, listen, caller, thank you for calling in, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, man?
And Mr. BDA.
Bye.
All right. What's up,
real quick, too, like a lot of people, I just want to say the dispel, it's not just size, because if that was the case, Plant would have beat him, because I believe dimension-wise, shoulder width, height, arm reach, almost identical to Plant, like Bivol. So, obviously, it's not just size. Just want to put that out there, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And but he did play a factor, but it wasn't the only thing, because you saw Kovalev was bigger, and he ended up getting knocked down. All right, let's go to 803 here. Hold on a second. It's loading up. 803, you're on the air. 803, what's on your mind?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, indeed, sir. What's on your mind?
What's going on, boys? I called a couple times before in the past. It's been a while. You guys touched on the majority of it. Just thought I'd add on. Wanted to say Bivol did an excellent job last night. His jab, his flurries, his footwork, distance management, everything was A+. Couldn't have been any better. If you watch the whole fight, he just broke Canelo. He beat him in every aspect. Early to mid rounds, kept him on the outside, hit him with the jab, pieced him up. Then in the last couple of rounds, you saw once Canelo started gassing and he took the steam away from Canelo, he willingly stood inside, caught everything on the guard. As you can see from his arms, all night was just catching everything on the guard and just beat him up on the inside as well, just to let him know, listen, you're not coming back. I'm going to beat you at your own game as well. Just too big, too smart, too skilled. And another thing you guys touched on briefly, but it's an old wrestling term, a mark. I think Canelo is just he became a mark, which means he bought into his own hype. He drank his own Kool-Aid, and he thought that same old shit we've been seeing for the past couple of fights of him, just plodding forward, loading up, throwing wild haymakers, load up hooks and uppercuts, eventually catching people and breaking them down was going to work. But as you saw, when you have somebody as skilled and just one word to describe Bivol, just as solid as he is, just the fundamentals and everything, the physical advantage, it didn't work. He got schooled. He couldn't break Bivol. And, that's it. Just masterful performance.
Well, there you go, man. Good little insight there from you, man. And call back next time, all right, man?
All right, man. You guys have a good one.
You too. Thank you for calling in. All right, let's go to 608. You're on the air. 608. What's on your mind? 608. What's on your mind?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air, man. What's up?
Can you hear me? Oh, I was just wondering if you guys think that Canelo's gonna change trainers after this loss. You guys think he's gonna change trainers?
Guys, what do you think? Should he or is he gonna change trainers?
Canelo, no. Will Canelo change trainers? Absolutely not. That kid's not just his trainer; it's his best friend.
Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah. Maybe it is. I'm just saying now. I just think that I doubt it. He not this late in the game. Like, I mean, how many fights does he realistically have left? A handful before he retires. Like, why at this game? That would, when it's your best friend. And again, that's not saying that's not a problem, but for those reasons, I don't see that happening.
Interesting.
Canelo and Reynoso have a very similar personality.
All right. I thought you were okay. Yeah, well, yeah. They seem to have good chemistry, Gonzalo. That's true. So maybe they like Canelo likes the way they train. But caller, what do you think? Do you think he's gonna leave Reynoso, or because people said the same thing about Mayweather and he never left him? So after the Mayweather fight, rather.
I think you should try to get a new trainer because I don't know. Reynoso's starting to get too comfortable with those millions of dollars he's making.
Yeah, probably. That's what Sue said. Yeah. Well, listen, anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, I'm good.
All right, take it easy, man. Thank you for calling in.
Bye.
Call back next time. Take it easy. All right. Arkan Inmate in the chat says, we need Recognize to lambaste these beta callers. Yeah, fucking where's I mean, he hasn't answered me. If anybody can get a hold of Recognize, that'd be great. I'd love to hear what he has to say about this fight. Because I know he's not a fan of Canelo either. Let's go to... Hold on a second. 612, you're on the air. 612, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, man.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, indeed, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Tim.
Yeah. So, first of all, congratulations to Bivol. Well, yesterday night, Canelo found out that size matters inside the ring, not just inside the bed. So, one thing is size. If you look at Bivol's arm after he showed his arm in the post-fight interview, and you see Callum Smith's arm, you can clearly see the size difference. Like I think Bivol's arm was the size of Callum Smith's thighs or legs probably. So even though he was getting hit on those arms, I felt that's why, because of the muscle mass and he was able to take those shots. And the other one is, I don't think Canelo could have varied his jab, because to vary your jab needs to reach the opponent. And there's no way that his physical limitation and his fighting style is what lost him that fight. I think he should just stick to 168, clean up that division, shut up all these naysayers. Especially he needs to smash Benavidez, and Benavidez will be there to get hit, and then he should just retire. I don't think he should take on any of the 175 guys, and I still favor Arthur Beterbiev to beat Bivol. The reason is the places where Canelo got him on the ropes, Beterbiev would have done a much better job of keeping him on the ropes, wrestling him, using dirty tactics, and trying to tire Bivol out. Even though it will still be a close fight, I feel Beterbiev will win in the end. That's just my opinion, guys. Take care.
All right. Thank you for your call. Was this Tin Man, by the way?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah, Tin Man. I had a hard time hearing you today. It sounded like you were in an actual tin can. You were living up to your name there. All right, take it easy, Tin Man.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but because you were talking away from the phone.
You too. Take it.
Anyway, but yeah, I heard you. Thank you for calling in, Tin Man. Catch you in the next one, man. Take it easy. All right, let's go to...
I agree with every word of that, by the way.
Okay, come on, fucking Pete. Don't forget to stay close to your phone. All right, 731, you're on the air. 731, what's on your mind? My goodness. 731, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Now, one thing that I wanted to say, man, I always thought Bivol was a real good fighter and everything, man. Back when he beat Barrera and Joe Smith, man, I knew that it would be hard for anybody to beat this guy, especially the way that Andre Ward was always talking about how good he was and stuff. And, man, but the issue that I really had with Canelo leading up to this fight is he's always throwing one punch. Mm-hmm. Has anybody else noticed that about his style?
Absolutely. Ever since he moved up to 168, he's been just trying to sledgehammer guys one shot at a time, and it didn't work out this time.
Yeah, like I just couldn't understand that. Like it worked at 160, and like you said, it definitely worked at 168. And I knew that him throwing that one punch against Bivol would not work at all, man. With Bivol punching the way that he punches, and Bivol throws a lot of flurries to just kind of throw guys off, I always thought. And I knew Canelo, he just kind of hyped himself up and believed that one punch style that he's using will work, man. And I think that that's what really hurt him the most, is the way, like, Canelo did not throw any combinations this fight. Like, not one.
That's a great point, man.
Like,
yeah,
it was it was really bad to me, man. Like, I don't see what anybody else was seeing when they said Canelo was winning the first, second, and like, to me, Bivol won every round but two of them, in my opinion. Like, he was just, man, to me, he had the more convincing shots. Canelo, majority of the time when he was throwing, he was hitting his wrist and his arms, things like that. I don't know. To me, it was an easy win. To me, this was a regular Bivol fight. This was nothing that was hard. I mean, this
That's
was
a good way of putting
that we've
it.
always seen with Bivol.
That's a good way of putting it, man. Yeah, it was a regular Bivol fight. Listen, we got to move on to another call, but anything else you want to say before we move on?
Nah, man, that's it, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you, man. Good call. Call back next time. Take it easy.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good way of putting it. A regular Bivol fight. And don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Come on now. By the way, I'm going to put up later on a little drama show here for everybody. Gonzalo just sent me the tweet that Garcia deleted. So we're going to talk a little bit about that later on. But before we go with that, hit the like. And let's go to 323. You're on the air. 323. What's up?
Oh, I forgot to hit the like button, guys. It's me.
Oh, Steve Kim, driving back from Las Vegas, I assume, right?
Yeah, I'm about an hour out from L.A. It's actually kind of sprinkling and drizzling here on the 10 freeway. But I was actually ringside last night. I actually listened to your chat last night. I'm listening to you guys live. Two things, guys. I had a really good seat. And one thing was very evident. It was actually stunning to see. In the first minute, guys, that jab of Bivol, and I don't know if it was Canelo's own lacing of his gloves, his face, especially his forehead, was really, really red right from the first minute. And I was like, wow. Bivol must hit pretty hard, and I think it surprised Canelo. And also, Jimmy, I thought it was interesting late in that fight, Bivol started to counterpunch and finish the combinations or the exchanges between him and Canelo had a look on his face like, no one's done that to me since Mayweather. I thought it was really interesting the way Bivol, people say it was a Bivol fight like your previous caller. I agree largely, but I thought the difference was in this fight he showed different facets because in the last 2-3 rounds he started to move inside. He chest with Canelo and started to do a bit of a catch and counter. I thought it was a brilliant performance all the way around.
Steve, that was the thing he did that when he was doing it, I was going, wow, man, why are you occupying that real estate? Like, you're staying right in front of him. You're standing right there in the oven with the kid, taking him on the arms, taking him off, like rolling with the punches. And like, I don't know if it was a thing, like he didn't want to say, like that way he could say if anybody trusted, well, he ran all night and stuck and moved. No, that wasn't the case. He beat him in every facet. I mean, and you're right. I noticed at the end when he went to the corner of the first round, I'm like, look at how beat red his forehead is. Like I think you're right. I think, and he was frustrated and almost like he was almost personally insulted. Like, wow, nobody's supposed to do this to me. Like he wasn't prepared for that mentally, I don't think.
And guys, I talked about this beforehand because I feel as though I probably know Dimitri as well. Visited him about 4 weeks ago, and they were extremely confident. Dimitri Bivol could be fighting Canelo Alvarez, Artur BDF, Steve Kim, Jimmy BDA, or Gonzalo. He would treat the fight the same way. He's a very, very measured individual. He's very unassuming, one of the nicest individuals I've ever seen in my life. Every gym that he's been to, I think he's just a prince of a guy. But the pressure, I think, is other guys have absolutely froze. Other guys have gotten nervous. Other fighters, their victory was getting the fight. And it's very interesting that when I was at the Joel Diaz training camp, I was talking to Oleg Frolov, who's the co-manager with Vadim Kornilov. He said, Steve, even as now we're training for Canelo Alvarez, I can't believe they gave us this fight because it was such a bad matchup. And he said, Steve, when Vadim told me, I think we're going to get this fight, I didn't believe him. And Vadim told me, and he reiterated to me last night, we're back up at the room, they had a little bit of a celebration, I got some video. Vadim said, I made sure that I didn't over-negotiate. This was not about the money. We're gonna cash in on the victory. They're the first guys in a long time that were not intimidated by the Canelo aura.
That's interesting.
Steve, I talked on I said that at the beginning of the show. I remember I said I caught an interview with the, and he said we gave in to everything. I didn't even negotiate. I took their first offer. We took the bare minimums across the board because we were going to bankroll it. And I said the same thing. It was refreshing to see somebody say that.
Right. At what point, what is the value of the victory? I mean, as Herman Edwards once said, you play to win the game. He played to win the game. And that you have to understand that Dimitri would have been a great fighter pilot or a surgeon because he's cool, he's calm, he's collected. None of this really affected him. On video, I actually tweeted out before I left for LA. I asked him about Canelo's entrance, and he said, "Yeah, it was fancy. It was neat. It was a good show." Like, it wasn't that big of a deal to him. And once he got going boxing, the other thing that was kind of eye-opening, even though he was the quote-unquote bigger guy, gentlemen, I thought his hand speed, especially as he started to roll those combinations, was really striking just how much faster off the trigger he was last night than Canelo.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was the hand speed that played a factor in there, too. Now, Steve, I got to ask you, you mentioned that Bivol conceded a lot to get this fight. Canelo was sort of ambivalent about, I mean, he was saying that he wanted a rematch, but you kind of felt that his heart wasn't really into it. He was just saying it because he had to say it. If a rematch does happen, do you think Bivol, what do you think Bivol's stance is going to be in terms of negotiations?
Oh, look, they're going to try to make some real money now. They are now into the not seven-figure realm. They're going to be looking for what everyone else was getting and then some because he actually won the fight. And Vadim did tell me that, hey, look, Steve, I was insistent on the rematch clause and that we're going to be negotiating. You know, look, they took the risk of saying, look, we'll take up a little bit less money just to make sure this deal gets done, but we're going to cash in on the victory. This is not a cash out. This is a cash in. Because you have to look at this from their perspective that if we win the fight, it can become a two-fight deal. But with that said, you're right, BDA. Are you really sure that Canelo is going to do that again? It seems like such a bad matchup for him.
All the way around.
Well,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead,
the interview that Steve's referring to and that Jimmy's referring to, that's exactly what his trainer said. He goes, look, we took the fight for the opportunity and only the opportunity. That's the way we looked at it. Every concession we were asked of us, we did it. Every A-side tactic that was brought to us, we acquiesced. We didn't bitch about going second. We could have gone second, let him go first. I don't give a shit. No anthem, whatever. And on the rematch, if he wants the rematch, they just got to understand that we got to get actually paid for everything that we left on the table. We got to even this thing out.
Yep.
Exactly. So yeah.
You know, that's a great point about the treatment of Bivol. And someone did ask him at the press conference, and I think I did it too. Did you care about coming in first as the world champion? In situations like that, sometimes they'll let the champion come in first. But if that happens, then they'll say, okay, but you'll get announced second. This time he went second on both. Now, a lot of people think it's disrespectful. Dimitri basically said, no, I really don't care. I just wanted to fight.
Yeah, he's not going to get distracted by that, right? He's not going to let that distract him. Fuck it.
Right.
Just do it. Let's go.
Right. Here's a story. I mean, Dimitri is a boxer. He told me this in India when I went there. He said, look, I asked him, do you think there's any pressure? I mean, this is a big stage. A lot of people. He says, no, this is boxing. I'm a boxer. I box. I'm the best light heavyweight, so I should win. That was his answer.
Yeah. And what else you got to lose? They stripped you off your anthem. They say you're from Indio, California. Nobody's rooting for you, so you got nothing but to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and say, okay, I'm already here. While the other guy's flying in the clouds, you know, with pink zebra stripe pajamas and everything is like you're praising them. You know, they're giving it so much yeah, Canelo this, Canelo that. Yeah, man, he's got a lot to lose, Canelo. It's a lot of pressure.
No, and Gonzalo, what was interesting was that there were times, you talk about hitting the shoulders, and he did that early on. but I think Jimmy can speak upon this. If you're going to use that strategy, and Rocky Marciano, when he fought a guy by the name of Roland Lastarza, he actually pounded on his arm so much he gave him blood clots. But you have to, if you're going to do that, unless you have superhuman power, you have to work in volume. You have to be an active, busy guy and continue to pound away and chip away. Canelo simply was not active enough to really make that strategy work out.
Exactly. You have to pound it on top. You can't give it when you hit it real hard in one spot. It starts to swell, blows the red blood cells out of the area. But if you don't hit it again right away, it gives it time to go back down and let the regular blood go back in. Yeah, you got to pound them. If you don't have that Rocky Marciano power, you better do it with volume. And he didn't, Steve. And then I got to say, Steve, too, I was shocked the other day when I went to the price to see what these guys were getting paid. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a typo. I'm like, that's all he's making? He's a champion? No, it was shocking.
Yeah. Jimmy, they bet on themselves. I mean, Vadim said, Steve, this is the interesting part. But the turn of the year, remember when Canelo and Caleb Plant, when that negotiation went sideways last year, for about a week, Bivol was about to get the fight in the fall. When that didn't happen, as they went back to Plant, Vadim and his team said, okay, well, we got to keep Dimitri busy. So they fought in Russia. They didn't look great, but, look, he got through it. Believe it or not, their focus and the fight that Dimitri actually wanted was better BS. He actually said, Steve, Canelo was really not at my focus. That's the thing. When people say, was he going to get overwhelmed by the moment, you have to understand, he wasn't like every other fighter between 60 and 75. He wanted those other belts. He really didn't think it was that realistic, and it wasn't exactly on his Christmas list. And I think it said a lot about Bivol. Again, he's a sportsman. This is what he does, but it's not a full-blown business to him either.
I was also, Steve, I was impressed with Bivol's ability to pierce the Canelo high guard, which a lot of times, that Arthur Abraham, Joshua Clowney guard is kind of hard to penetrate. And Canelo brings that to the table, but I think it was the speed combined with the momentum. He was able to get through and be into Canelo's gloves. And maybe that's why the no boxing, no life gloves aren't that good, because they hardly have any fucking padding. He was getting his arm pushed back.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. And by the way, guys, one last thing. I know you guys got a lot of callers. The judging. Those guys should be disbarred. Now, look, we don't have access to the scorecards till after the fight, but the ringside consensus of the guys that were really close to the ring, everyone had it about 10-2 to 8-4. 9-3 what most people had. And we all looked at each other. Me, Doug Fisher, Mike Coppinger, Dylan Hernandez. We all said, Canelo lost. He lost big. It's not even that close. But when they said, all right, our decision, 115, there was an audible gasp like, oh, don't do this. Don't do this. And the fact that all three judges had it 4-0 after 4 rounds, when the best it could have been was 2-2. I had it 3-1, Bivol. The fact it was 4-0 on that scorecard of all three judges, and then if Bivol coasts in the 12th round, and if he doesn't win it, it's a draw.
Oh.
That's shameful.
Bivol said as much, Cam, in the post-fight. He said the same thing. He's like, when I heard 115-13, I said, ooh. He even thought something was smelling fishy. And I was going to ask you about that. So the ringside consensus, you heard him say that, right? So the ringside consensus from you and all the writers was basically way wider than that, than 7-4. Yeah. I know everybody on the panel post-fight last night, although I must admit I was completely shit-faced, so I don't remember everything exactly right. But they were, well, I'm being honest. But they said the panel said as much, too, that, it should have been way wider than that. Everybody at the party I was at that was watching it said the same. Don't you think it was weird that not only did the three judges get it, the three judges came in with the same scores, 15-13, but the rounds were identical. Like it was 1 through 4 and the 9th for Canelo and the rest for Bivol. It was like identical. They all saw the same exact fight.
Yeah,
round by round. Crazy.
I asked Joel Diaz, who worked that corner. I saw him afterward, and I said,
Steve?
Joel, what did you guys tell him before the 12th? And Joel said, Steve, I was screaming at him, finish him. Because truth be told, Bivol's camp was not happy with the selection of judges. They couldn't say it. They didn't want to say it publicly. But I was told, I asked one of them, are you happy with the judges? And they said, no. But we have no choice in the matter. We got to fight.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an
They
interesting.
conceded. Yeah,
that's
that's one of the things they conceded
there,
to.
man.
That was just one of the many things that they just said, okay, fine, acquiesce to it.
What was
We want
that
the
they
opportunity.
conceded? I didn't hear.
The judges,
Steve.
The judges, yeah, no, everything, yeah. They conceded to thickness of pad, everything.
Yeah. I want to ask Steve a question.
I asked someone in the Bivol. Yeah, Jimmy. I asked someone in the Bivol camp on Thursday. They're at dinner, and they were at the Wolfgang Puck. That's where everyone goes at the MGM Grand. I said, hey, you guys satisfied with the judges? And they just said, no. We have no choice in this.
It is
what
what
are
it
you
is.
going to do, pull out?
Steve Kim, I want to ask you a question. Since the fight was 7-5 officially, if Eddie Reynoso modifies and he tells Canelo, instead of going to the shoulders, go to the head, where you might miss some, but you might actually land some, that you're rocking Bivol's head back, can he get the decision on the scorecards? Because he probably would have landed some on the head, but he got tired going to the shoulders. What do you think?
That's a good question, Gonzalo, because obviously a shot to the head will probably be more of a scoring blow, may do more damage. But go back to what me and Jimmy have been talking about. Is his output going to be any different? Because I think the punch stats, and again, punch stats are punch stats, but I believe he got outlanded in every single round. And the other thing is, Gonzalo, I just don't think he's a light heavyweight. One thing that was very noticeable, Canelo from the beginning of the fight was winding up and putting everything into every shot. So even if he wanted to throw multiple punches, he couldn't. He just couldn't. And
he looked like Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence. The love handles, like he eating them tortillas to make the weight.
And you can always tell. You can tell when a fighter's doing that, Steve. Obviously, there's a few ways, but when they miss, he was swinging himself off balance, and you know what I mean. So you could tell, yeah, he was lining up. And if you throw everything, I don't care how hard you punch, your body acclimates to that. He didn't change things up, which was surprising.
Hey, Steve, I gotta ask you something. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, BJ.
Well, I was going to ask, we're talking a lot about Canelo, about how he lost, and I mean, it's understandable, he's the A side, but I'm wondering, Beterbiev, he's going to be fighting Joe Smith. What is the likelihood that he and Bivol actually get together and tango a little bit?
I think a lot better than it was, let's say, 36 hours ago, because in the past, as Bob Arum kind of does, he'll throw water on certain fights if he doesn't like them or it doesn't make promotional sense. But now, when you beat Canelo Alvarez, I'm not saying you become a superstar, but you become somebody. So I don't want to hear Bob talking about nobody knows who this Bivol is. Who the hell cares? We care now.
Bivol.
We give a damn. We give a damn. Okay, look, and I as much as I've liked Bivol, I've also criticized him because I thought he stagnated. I didn't think he was as active as he needed to be. But last night, he stood up and he delivered. Now he's elevated himself. He's earned the right for people to give a damn about him. That's a fighter's job.
Hey,
Caleb
Steve.
Plant didn't do that. Calvin Smith didn't do that. He did that.
We got Bob Arum on the line. He wants to tell you something.
Yay, prick. You little
Hey,
prick.
Steve. Steve. Listen.
Come on, Bob.
Come
on,
anyway,
Bob.
guys, I know you guys got a bunch of callers. I got about 45 minutes on the road. I'll be listening to you guys the rest of the way, man. Have a great weekend.
Hey, Steve, take care, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling in, man.
Absolutely. I'll keep listening, guys. Great show.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in. Catch you on the next one, man. Man, that was Steve Kim right there. Man, hey, that judge thing. By the way, you can check out Steve Kim. Hold on a second. Steve Kim on the 3 knockdown rule. You can download it on iTunes. You can check it out on Triller's channel on YouTube. You can check out Steve Kim on Twitter, Steve at Steve Kim 243. It's 243, right, Jamie? I always forget the fucking number.
323, I believe. 323.
Well,
I can tell you right. I'll go get right now.
I'm going to put it up on the screen, and you can check him out. His articles on snack.com as well, K9's Corner. And you can check him out at The Blaze as well. He makes appearances there.
And you can also catch him getting escorted out of the next top rank card by my security. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. To make it quick, it's at Steve Kim 323.
Oh, okay, yeah.
His
What
Twitter.
I said, 243. Yep. All right, fantastic. Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
And
Go ahead, Gonzalo.
it's a good thing that Bivol's not from St. Petersburg anymore. You know, that Indio's from California. It's a pinche Indio.
He's a Korean from California. Yeah, that's what it is. All right. Well, listen, shout out to Steve Kim for calling in. Always appreciate him calling in. Man, I'm surprised that Bivol's team were candid about the judge selection. Them being displeased.
I mean, yeah, they said basically they did not argue a single fucking point. The fee, the entrance, the ring size, the padding, the where I'm from, where you're from, anthem, no anthem. It was just the opportunity. That it wasn't the money or the championship or the status or the belt. It was the opportunity.
It's the way it's done. That's the way it's done. Like Lomachenko.
I never really heard. I wasn't too. That's the best I've ever seen Bivol look in the 4 fights that I've watched prior to this last week from Smith and this 2 Stay Busy fights. That's the best I've seen him look physically. The weight is a good point. It had nothing to do with the weight. It was just simply the range, like his body type, his reach advantage, his footwork. It looked like Shakur Stevens calmly stepping back and throwing combinations at an Oscar Valdez who's just charging forward and getting frustrated over it. Shakur didn't hurt Oscar Valdez. I didn't see Bivol hurt. I know a red forehead, but I can't hold that against him. It's genetic.
They got some good boxers in India, man. Yeah, they got some good boxers in Indio, California, man.
Hey, fuck it. Yeah. India's a great place. But the thing about it is this, right? I didn't see Bivol. I didn't see either one of those guys get necessarily hurt. It was a very clean fight. The ref never got involved. I mean, there was no low blows. Bivol was just very composed. In the post fight, really showed that. He's an upbeat guy, but he's also just a very rational guy.
It was like,
ring. Go ahead, Gonzalo. You go.
It was kind of like sad to watch that the guy that is coming forward and breaking these dudes down at 68, how Bivol put him on the ropes, man. I was like, man, that was pretty fucking sad.
Canelo went on the ropes because he was trying to invite Bivol to lead so he could counter him. Because he couldn't. Yep. I mean, there's no reason for Canelo to jab a guy that's got a 6-inch, look like about a 6-inch reach advantage. I know it wasn't exactly that, but what am I going to do? Jab a guy who's 3 inches taller than me and got 3 inches of reach on me? What the fuck is his jab going to do? His jab's not hurting me. I mean, Bivol's jab wasn't a triple G type of power jab, and he was just posting with it to keep his range. So it's like I can walk through this jab, look it off if I want to, whatever, and let me get in here and try to throw some hooks. Once you got in there, the problem is, though, this whole hitting on the arm thing, I don't know, maybe that was the deal back with Rocky Marciano, back in his time. But, man, you got to fucking punch somebody about 1,000 times with a 10-ounce glove in the bicep. Rocky Fielding shelled up on the ropes and let him hook off on both of on his biceps for the entire fight. He just shelled up. And if Canelo's not going to do anything except for that, then it's going to be a long night. Don't headhunt. He abandoned his body attack. That's the one place that he had Bivol. It was effective, and then the height difference invited that. He landed some damn good left hooks, but once he fucking slipped that first uppercut through, which I don't know what he's headhunting an Asian guy for, it's not a good idea. But once he slipped the first uppercut through, he just kept trying to fire that thing in there like a Tank Davis. He just kept trying to squeeze that uppercut in there.
Because he knew. So when you punch around somebody's guard, Pete, you lose so much more of your power when you're throwing up and around. Like if he was the same height, you can kind of jump in. Because remember, the farther your elbow goes from your body, the more comes off your punches. So you're going to keep your elbow is going to be closest to your body on the uppercut on a taller guy. That's going to be your most powerful punch. And he knows that. So that's the reason why he was trying to, land that one the most. But I want to say about his jab. Yes, you're right. Sometimes he just flicks it out as a to compete for length. But there's other times where he throws it like a stick. And just like Steve said, Bivol's face was, I mean, Canelo's face was all red, his forehead from those jabs, and plus, I think he throws a hard stick. I think he throws a hard stick to the solar plex too, because a few times I saw Canelo kind of wince when he took
that.
You know what I mean?
I saw that.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I think some of his jabs are pretty hard.
Even Bivol after the fight says much. Look, I don't have God gift power. I don't have this thunderbolt type of power. All right, I just don't have it. So it's like, he even says he's a rational guy. He couldn't be more honest. Everything that he said made total sense the way he said it. But all I'm saying about Canelo is I thought they both handled themselves in the ring as good as they could have. I never saw Bivol look better, frankly. And Canelo, I can't blame him for making the attempt. If he wants the rematch, I can't blame him. I can't blame him at all. After the fight, he handled himself very, very well. God damn, these calls keep coming in here.
Hey, by the way, guys, speaking of calls, we gotta.
I'll say one more thing, and then I'm gonna let you get back to it. The thing about it is, one thing about Canelo Alvarez is, you mentioned the trainer before. Why the heck would he switch trainers? Because he took a loss. All right, he lost a decision. He didn't get knocked out, didn't get knocked down, didn't get embarrassed. He fucking lost a fight. We're gonna learn from this, like he did from the first Triple G fight to the second one. He seems like the type to study the film and learn from his mistakes and make adjustments. So
save the film study. What you did wrong was taking a fight. You just he's not.
Fellas,
we
gotta get
light heavyweight.
What would make you think after the Kovalev fight? What would make him? What would lead him to think that?
If Bivol would have kept continuing going to the body, I think he knocks him out. And for a second, I thought that he had him hurt when he threw that onslaught. Like 2 times, he had him hurt. He probably would have knocked out Canelo. Not because Canelo got a bad chin, but he probably would have taken a knee like Cotto did against Margarito the first fight. That could end up happening.
Well, listen, fellas, we got to get back to the phone lines here. Yeah.
Take any out of frustration, or to stop the onslaught. I'm sorry, BDA. Did you say you have to take calls?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Got to get back to
the phone. Okay, shut up.
Huh? Jeez, Luis, what the fuck? All right, let's go to... Jimmy's snapping. 917, you're on the air. 917, what's on your mind?
Hello?
Yes, 917, you're on the air. What's up?
Yeah, guys, what's up? That was a long run to the next call. So what I was going to say, we can't take anything away from Canelo after yesterday. I mean, he went up to another weight class, higher weight class, fought the number 2, perhaps even number 1 guy. I mean, what do you expect? You think he's going to run through him like a freight train? It doesn't work that way. The guy's been, I feel like you can't take anything away from him. 1, because he went the distance. Yeah, was he getting clocked? He was. But he's been very active lately, too. People don't give him enough credit for the fact that he fought 4 or 5 times in the past year. How many times has Spence fought in the past 2 years? You know what I mean? And then people want to jump to these conclusions like Canelo's I don't know, the blueprint, quote unquote, is out. That blueprint is only going to work if you're 175 pounds or if you hit like a Mack truck. Whatever happened last night, that's not going to happen at 168.
Well, listen, that's an interesting point right there. I will agree with you when people say, well, Canelo cherry-picked Bivol. How is fighting in his prime, legit, undefeated light heavyweight champion a cherry-pick? That's nobody's been able to explain
because he doesn't look like me, Mr. BDA.
Oh, Jimmy, what's the matter with you? Well, listen, that caller...
I'll tell you guys what it is. He doesn't speak the best English. It is a little bit of a boring division for, the non, boxing fans, the casuals, I guess. Come on, nobody knows anybody in that division unless they really, really watch boxing. So when you hear the name Bivol and then you see what he looks like and you're a casual, you're just gonna be like, who the hell is that guy?
Exactly.
But if he spoke better English, talked a little shit, he also would be, one of the guys everyone's talking about. So that's what it comes down to a lot of the time.
You're absolutely right there, caller. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
I just find it a joke that people are saying that the blueprint is out and that now there's some people are raving about Spence fighting him, but if Spence fought him, somebody was saying before it'd be like a BB gun hitting a fucking elephant. But it's just it doesn't work that way, man. Come on, he went up in weight. He fought a guy that literally is he's a champ. What do you want?
That's it.
All right. Thank you for your call, caller, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right, man? Take it easy.
It'd be like a Ferrari hitting a concrete curb. Hey, listen. The thing is this, like Blueprint. This is hilarious. People can't think more than 5 seconds forward or backwards sometimes. But like, look, Blueprint.
Thanks, Pete.
He counterpunched like Erislandy Lara did, and he shelled up on the ropes like Rocky Fielding did. And Canelo acted the same way in each case. All right, that's what it is. He fought a great fight. Canelo got nothing to be ashamed of. And he said as much afterwards. He said, I thought I was ahead, but hey, you know what I mean? I want the rematch. We'll go from there. We'll look at it.
And the thing is, too, the fighter Canelo is today is not the fighter he was when he fought Lara. Like, he fights like, you back and look at that. He's changed his style around, too.
I know, but I'm just saying, a guy...
No, I'm not saying that for you. I'm saying that for people listening.
And Lara's not carrying the biggest power, right? But he's got the footwork and he's got the technical skill to fight his style.
That's right.
You know, he was at 54, a lot smaller than Canelo, and Bivol is obviously a lot heavier, but the size really wasn't the issue here. It was, if Rocky Fielding had fought that fight with the same dimensions, the same reach advantage and height advantage.
All right, now, fellas, we still got a lot of calls to get through here, so we can't go back. That's okay. But we'll keep going later. Hold on a second. Who we got here next? 484. You're on the air. 484. What's on your mind?
Hello?
Yes, 484. You're on the air. What's up?
Hey, what's up? Hey, Steve Kim had a great call there. I mean, he pretty much like nailed it on the head. Like when I was watching that fight live, I saw that like within like the first like less than a minute, Canelo's face looked like he just got fucking battered. Like within the first minute of the first round. Like his whole shit was just completely bloodshot red. I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with this? What happened here?" But it reminded me a lot of like a better version of Triple G, man. Like if you see like when Canelo got against the ropes and like he was like inviting him in and shit like that. Like it reminded me of that first Triple G fight. But it was just like this guy is way bigger and he hits way harder and he's way better than Triple G. That's what, and it was just like initially I thought, I was like, damn, this fucking guy is completely overwhelming Canelo, but Canelo was firing back and he's got like this dog in him and it's going to be interesting. And it was like that throughout like most of the fight. I thought it was kind of like that, but Bivol, it wasn't just his size. He's just a class. He was able to frustrate Canelo. He obviously has. That's the Eastern European style that they got going on now. It was just when you really master that on the level that like someone like a Bivol or a Lomachenko or an Usyk has, you can't be beaten. You really honestly can't be beaten. In my opinion, that's how I view it. I mean, I know Lomachenko's been beaten a few times, but I mean, he probably shouldn't have any losses, to be honest. But you know, I really don't have anything bad to say about Canelo, man. I told people that I know that like this was way more of a challenge than Charlo. I don't know about Benavidez. I don't know if it was a bigger challenge than Benavidez, but it was a way bigger challenge than Charlo for sure. And you know,
well, yeah, no, everything you're saying makes sense, man. Yeah.
What's up?
I say what you're saying makes, it's a fair assessment. What
I
you're saying.
just wanted to say that you know, I respect Canelo for taking this challenge. Clearly outmatched like on every feasible on every level that you can imagine. He was Canelo was not better than Bivol at doing anything.
Hey, by the way,
nothing that you can say Canelo is better at Bivol at this.
Well, yeah, no. By the way, is this Olaf?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
Olaf, man, what's up? Hey, last night, listen. Last week, we got to address what happened last week. If you want to bail out of the phone call, you can cut it off at any time. You don't have to start screaming the N-word. because that not for nothing, man. But that
No,
that
listen, man. Listen, I'll tell you what, dude. I'll tell you what. I want to say this to you, BDA. I apologize for disrespecting you personally. The other things that I said, I shouldn't have called you. I may have called you some words, but I shouldn't have done that because you do a good thing for boxing. I really do. I truly believe that you do, man. You have a good platform here, and you guys do. I mean, like I can't listen to this other shit that's on YouTube, like this other boxing shit on YouTube because it's just so insufferable. It's you can't do it. Your program, your platform is one of the only tolerable fucking things that I can for boxing on YouTube.
I appreciate that, although I will say I like you better when you're crazy. But I will say this, man. And by the way, I respect you for apologizing. But all I wanted to clear up was that when the guy called in and said that he thought that White took a dive, I hadn't seen the replay. That's why I was playing the replay because I wanted to see. Okay, let's see what this guy's talking about. I can't agree or disagree with the guy if I haven't seen the replay yet. And Bucho didn't. You also called King Bucho Queen Bucho. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong either. So we were just trying to give Tyson Fury a fair shake. Did White take a dive or didn't he?
Yeah.
We had to. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, and exactly. I know. I mean, it's just I shouldn't have overreacted the way. It was just like the flood of like when I went back and because I didn't listen to that live. When I went back and listened to it days later, it just seemed like there was a flood of callers that were just like they had a fucking agenda, and they were just completely trying to like shit on that whole fight. Like it was fixed or he cheated or there was all kinds of like different shit. Like and it was just like that dude just. I mean. I don't even like talking about it anymore, man. I mean, I've watched that fight a lot. I can tell you that thing. It's very unlikely that was fixed or there's any cheating going. And I mean, you got to understand. I mean, what did he have like a 7.5 inch fucking reach advantage on the fucking guy? Look at what Bivol did to fucking Canelo with less than 2 inches of reach advantage. Tyson Fury's got like a 6-7 inch reach advantage. Okay,
well, listen, Olaf,
on people. That's devastating. You can't deal with that.
Excellent point.
So
excellent. But well, listen, Olaf, I appreciate you calling in and all that. We do have to move on. So, any last words before we go?
I just want to say that Canelo, man, this did not. I mean, I didn't listen to your entire show. I basically called in when you guys were talking. You guys were talking to Steve Kim. And so I don't know what you guys were talking about before then, but I can say that like this doesn't harm Canelo's legacy at all. Like this doesn't do any like this if he would have beaten Bivol, what would have it done for his legacy? It's okay. Well then he was he's a legit 175. He didn't just beat a shot to bits Kovalev kind of thing. But like but he lost. At 175.
It didn't tarnish his legacy. It just didn't extend it.
It did.
Exactly. I mean, he took a risk and it didn't pay off. Now he can go back to 168 and take care of business there. All right, well, listen, Olaf, we do have to move on, man. We're running out of time here, but thanks again for the call and call back next time, right, man? Take it easy.
Okay, take care.
You too, man. All right, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. All right, let's go to... Phone calls are piling up here. 262, you're on the air. 262, what's on your mind? 262.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up?
Hey, yeah, this is Fella Ray, man. I like to give a big ups to Bivol last night. The fight played out just like I said it was on your show. Canelo was gonna come in. He was gonna be eating chicken all night until he got tired, and then when he come in, he was gonna get the potatoes and biscuits with it. So and that's just what happened. That's just what happened. And I don't know. I kind of like hate the way they thought he was just gonna walk this guy down. I mean, it's just simple math. His output is just too high for Canelo.
That's true. And I do remember you calling. All right, I think we're back.
I'm like, then Bivol. Mr. BDA, what happened, kid? I think we got bounced off YouTube.
Yes,
Susan pulled the plug.
Well, no, not when he pulled the plug. It's just the internet's been well, I shouldn't swear so much. But yeah, I think we're back. Well, hold on a second. Let me just put here a message here on the chat. Refresh your stream. Refresh your stream. We are back. We're back on the air. Sorry about that. Phone lines are fucked because of this. I think we're back on the air. Can anybody corroborate if we're back on the air?
I will go check right now.
I'll take my hood off. If we are, I'll take my hood off.
Your white hood? Is that what you're talking about, Pete? What
yeah, my hood.
All right, come on.
My ghost costume.
You fucking guy. All right, we are back, I think. So sorry about that. Refresh your stream. I think I've been writing that in the
like R. Kelly says, refresh your stream as often as possible.
No, come on. Wait a minute. Pete, you're getting a little bit too rambunctious. Pete, you're getting a little bit. It's Sunday.
I'm hungover, man. Give me a break.
Yeah, those Greek parties, man. They're like, hopefully they're not like the Roman parties with vomitoriums and all that.
Again,
but what?
No, I'm getting too old for this.
In BDA, I wanted to say too, man. Like out of all the things, the footwork, power, all those things. I bet you, if you were to talk to Canelo, he's going to tell you what Steve touched on, the speed. I guarantee you that shocked him. How fast those punches in the distance. How he's, because of his stance and his control of distance. A few times you could actually. I was just watching it. Right, I think it's the fourth round here. He goes to pull out of after throwing a couple of decent punches at Bivol, and it's almost he got to backing out to that certain spot where he almost lets his guard down. He gets a little kind of relaxed, and all of a sudden, hold up. Out at the end, all of a sudden he catches a two-piece, and you could tell he's like, "Whoa!" Like he was shocked, like he wasn't expecting that. He realized how much farther that dude can punch than his length.
Can I just say, sorry? Well, go ahead, Gonzalo, and then I have to try to reestablish the phone lines. But go ahead, Gonzalo. Yeah.
And it must be like a real terrible feeling that when you're going heavy like Canelo, but then you don't have the greatest stamina after you're finished punching. Here comes this guy with them quick punches. It's like, man, and let's say it's just the beginning of the fight, then you have to make it all the way to like the 12th. That takes a lot out of you, man. That's draining. Yeah,
it's not damaging. There's no pout. Here's what I'm saying, guys. I don't want to belabor this, but if you're Canelo Alvarez and you're giving away that kind of height and that kind of reach, Lomachenko, you see how he goes about it, correct? He uses those footwork to take angles to make it so that the reach and the height are negated.
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions,
very little straight jabbing. So to expect Canelo to do that is not going to happen. If he's getting tagged with shots and he's looking them off or not looking them off, I didn't see either guy get quote unquote hurt. But Canelo I didn't see stamina issues. I see him standing up the first minute in the corner. He got frustrated. It didn't go his way. And furthermore, he abandoned the body attack, which Jimmy's right about.
Hold on, fellas.
About Luke. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that, but it's because I gotta test the phone lines here, see if they work. Hold on,
test them out.
262. Can you hear me? Fuck. Nah, I think I'm gonna have to restart this motherfucker. All right, but listen, yeah, if anybody can hear me out there on the phone lines, we've got to. We might have to restart the phone lines, so make sure you stay on the line, or make sure you call back rather. Once we reactivate them. And if you're still there, everybody in the chat, make sure to hit the like, refresh your stream if you haven't refreshed it already. Actually, hold on. Let me try one last time here. See if I don't have to restart the phone lines. Hold on a second.
Your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions,
but I already,
2.
It's going to tell me.
It appears that the host has already dialed into the show.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm going to have to restart. All right. I'm going to, so everybody that's on the phone line here, make sure to call back.
Hang up.
Yeah, hang up and call back. I'm going to restart the phone lines.
All right.
So you guys take over. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So Pete, I think that what Bivol said in the post-fight press conference, that he realized that when Canelo was throwing heavy, that's when he was getting tired. It's not so much that when Bivol was landing, that was like taking a whole hell of a lot from Canelo. Yeah, I know it does. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's beating him down. He's hitting. He's gonna get tired of Canelo. But Canelo was like he was his own worst enemy by loading up so much and putting so much power under his shots. That kind of hurt him too.
I haven't seen him do anything else. Hey, I'll be the first person to shit all over Canelo Alvarez. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of his style. I'm not a fan I'm not a fan of the legend. I'm not a fan of being bigger than the sport and being able to pick your own schedule. I'm not a fan of any of it. It's got a Mayweather type of fucking smell to it. So fuck any other. I mean, when it's appropriate, fuck Canelo and But I got to keep it real. I picked him to win this fight. I picked him to win this fight by stoppage, 10th or 11th with a body attack, and I was wrong. But he planned for the same thing. He just came up short. I mean, I can't change trainers, quit boxing, blueprint. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, with him, he might not even. Bivol says he doesn't have shocking power or like one punch power by no means, but that kid sticks hard enough where that's what was preventing him. Because if he had no power at all and they weren't powerful punches and it wasn't determined through power, he just wouldn't have. He would have let those other attributes negate him, because like Plant had all the same shit. He was very slippery, could throw combinations, but he was pity pattering that shit. So that just had Canelo popping side to side and coming in looking to lay it. He didn't want to do that with Bivol. He would peel back out of the fucking after catching those shots, because they rang his bell. Whether they rang his bell, not like had him doing a crip walk, but made him ring his bell enough where you have to like kind of step back for a second and go, okay, let me clear that shit. There's a cobweb ringer.
All right. Well, now
Jimmy.
listen. With that being said, I got the phone lines are back. So there's a shitload of calls now. They're backed up. So help me get through them, and everyone will get what they want. All right. Let's go to. Hold on a second. Who we got here?
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah. All right. Fine. 262. Sorry about that. We got disconnected. 262. Are you still there?
Right. Sorry about that, you guys. Earlier. But like I say, good big ups to Bivol. And like Canelo, he kind of like hurt himself taking this fight, man. Because if you ask me, this is what I say: anybody who boxed Canelo, they win. But when he goes in on his bully mode, that's when he wins. Anybody he bullies, he beat up. Anybody he boxes, he lose. So that's how he figured out his fight. He like, I could take these punches, so I'm just gonna bully him. So he goes in and bully him. But he think he couldn't bully Bivol. Like the last caller said, them punches was ringing his bell. He couldn't get up in there. So that's just the way it is.
Well, now let me ask you, who would you pick between Beterbiev and Bivol?
Ooh, that'd be a monstrous of a fight, man. But I think Bivol is too smart for Beterbiev.
Oh.
He wouldn't get on the ropes like the rest of the fighters will.
Well, you know what? That's going to be an interesting.
I just think he's too smart.
That's going to be an interesting fight between a guy from Indio, California, and a Canadian. I don't think they're not Russians anymore. They're from somewhere else now. So that's going to be an interesting fight, man.
Right.
That's a liberal shootout right there.
That's right. Well, listen, 262. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, man, I'd like to give a big shout out to you guys at BDA, man. Y'all great, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you, brother.
it.
Good call.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Call back next time.
All right. Blessed day.
Take it easy. You too, man. All right, let's go to 747. 747. You're on the air. 747. What's on your mind? 747.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Jay Money. How's everything going? Yeah, just really quickly. I know, during the fight,
Hey, Money, how you doing, buddy?
In the beginning, what's up, guys? Yeah, Bivol was, bouncing around and respecting Canelo, but at the point where he tasted Canelo's power, he's like, all right, I could taste your little, your cinnamon shots, it's over, I'm just going to go forward and I'm going to, trade more and hit when you hit, and I'm just going to, tee off on you. And there was points where, that Canelo kind of got discouraged him, because he couldn't do what he does to other guys, which is, just pound them to death. So I think, there's something good from this, because what I think is if he would have got the robbery with this fight against Bivol, he would have got put to sleep against Beterbiev. Like, no way. Like, there's just no way that he would have been able to take those punches of Beterbiev, because some of those Bivol shots, rather they really hurt him, but he respected him. He respected Bivol's punches, So I think that there's a blessing in disguise, because after that knockout against Beterbiev, I think maybe his career is over. So
oh yeah,
I think he should just go down to 68 and beat up Charlo, and get that money against Spence, and then, either pass the torch with Benavidez or, end his career. Or not end his career, but, put an owl in it.
That's an excellent point. Hey, listen, everything happens for a reason. Maybe everything happened for a reason for Canelo, for his sakes. Like you said, that's an interesting theory. That's an interesting path that he might have avoided, the Beterbiev path. J Money, anything else you want to say before we move on?
Nah, I just want to say, too, hopefully this puts on a new era of boxing where we could support, all boxers, regardless if we don't have connections to them. You just said he's from Indio, California, but, we know where he's from. Yeah. And regardless, if they're from a different country, don't really speak our language. If we're not going to be supporting a boxer just because he's not from our area, then the sport's going to kind of like die, because these boxers, they need to get money. And the next generation is going to see how they're not getting money. They're going to go to other sports or do other things, so.
That's a good point.
That's
a sensible.
But, yeah.
You're a little bit too sane, J Money.
Have a great show, guys.
You too, man. But you're a little bit too sane to be in the boxing community. We're all a bunch of nut jobs here. Your point of view was a little bit too balanced. But anyway, good points, J Money, and call back next time, man. Shout out to you.
For sure, man.
Take it easy,
Have a blessed day. Bye.
You too, man. All right, let's go to 650. 650. You're on the air. 650. What's on your mind?
I did BDA. Did I hear Canelo after the fight say he thought he won?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I completely disagree with him.
Like, what do you think's going on in his mind where he thought he won?
Well, you know what, caller, the way he said it, you tell me what you think. But I think the way he said it was, it's almost like he was just saying it automatically. Like some fighters, when they lose, immediately they'll say, no, and they'll come up with the first excuse that comes to their mind. My hand was hurt, my wife, didn't want to fuck, whatever. And I think that's what was going on with Canelo, because if you listen to what he said, they asked him, what about the fight? He goes, no, you win some, you lose some. But I thought I won the fight. He never said that with the Triple G draw, which he should have lost. He didn't. He was acting incensed, like he actually won the fight. This time he prefaced it by saying, "You win some, you lose some." So I think he deep down inside he knows he lost. What do you think, caller?
I think you're right in the beginning. I think he took accountability, but I think he made one line at the end that kind of threw it all away by saying, "I think I won tonight."
Oh. See, I hadn't heard that part.
He did say that. That was like the last thing he said. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah, no. You're absolutely right there, caller.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, he's got it. I don't think he's ever going to grow. Like, yeah, he's a great fighter, bro, but come on, man. I just wish he was more real with himself, with the Triple G shit and now with this shit.
Yeah, you're right. And his mother doesn't help any. I bet she thinks he got robbed too last night. But listen, we got to move on to another. We got to move on to another calls. But anything else you want to say before we move on?
Nah, great show, BDA.
Thank you, 650. Thank you for your call, and call back next time, man. Take it easy.
Good call.
All right, now before we continue with the phone calls here, because they are piling up, I got to read a couple of super chats here. Shout out to Kung Fu Brandon for his contribution with the super chat. He says, "Ryan Garcia leaving is the downfall of Reynoso." Oh. You think he's suffering the king of the twinks effect? They leave him, and he leaves people actually. He ruins them. I think Kung Fu Brother might be onto. What's that?
Reynoso, can I taste your power?
Oh, jeez.
Ryan, stop asking that. Get out of here. You gotta leave camp. All right, sorry.
And shout out to Knowles for his contribution with Super Chat. He says, post-fight, Porter puts money on Canelo beating Beterbiev. As a boxer, I don't understand how he thinks. Beterbiev stomps him. He's not a style made for Canelo one bit. Laughing my ass off. Whoa, did Porter really say that? That Canelo would actually...
Yes, and he had Canelo winning the first 4 rounds too. It's like everybody filled out, it's like Bivol went into the fight down 4 on everybody's scorecards.
Well, Crawford might have hit him 4. Crawford might have hit him a little bit too hard. Might have shaken him up a little bit too much. Scramble his eggs, yeah. All right, let's go to 419 here. 419, you're on the air. 419, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, BDA?
Oh, T-Tone, what's up, man?
Hey, okay. What's up, panel, Jimmy? And all the new guys that are up in there. Hey, just how to put it on the other side of the fight, you know. Hey, what a great fight, man. You know, the light heavyweight champ showed he was the light heavyweight champ. You know, at the end of the fight, I looked at my twin and I said, man, you got to take it from the champ. You know, so Canelo's going to learn from this fight. But, man, just all the junk talking on Canelo. You know, hey, you hear me, BDA?
Yeah, you're still on.
Hey, you know, we're looking at a fighter here that started out at the same 147, you know, and then moving up in weight. And man, when he went up to 160 and fought Triple G, the best, you know, and them were some good wars. And then going up to 168, and then going up to 175, and people say, "Oh, Canelo got exposed." Man, we're watching greatness here, man. What, 2 years ago?
He actually started at 140.
Yeah, that's even, you know, well, look at, imagine Spence. What, Spence started out at 147? Imagine Spence going to 160, 168, 175.
It would be equivalent of Spence going to
very few fighters. We're watching something that you only see every once in a long time. And I've been watching boxing for kind of a long time, you know. You don't see this. So, you know, for all them people saying that, Canelo got... No, man. There's weight classes for a reason. And, man, Canelo, man, you know, this was a bigger guy, a tough guy, and, man, Canelo shots weren't doing like they usually do at a higher weight. But, man, don't count Canelo out. If Canelo comes back and beats this guy, man, that's another thing. And, hey, what I was saying earlier, you know, 2 years ago, Canelo tied Henry Armstrong for holding 3 different weights at the same time. And then the next year he goes undisputed. And then he tried to go for 175. Come on, man. Put some respect on that, man. Even though he lost. Look at he lifted up the light heavyweight division. Everyone's talking now about Bivol and Better Beef. Man, he's bringing boxing back to life after Floyd almost killed it.
No.
So let's go, man. Let's go.
All right, T-Tone. T-Tone bringing the heat as always.
Hey, you understand what I'm saying, BDA?
I get you completely, man. You're bringing that jalapeno pepper fire, man. Well, listen, T-Tone, we got to move on to another call here, but anything else you want to say before we move on?
Yeah. Hey, he'll be back, my friend. Hey, I'll talk to you later, BDA.
All right, take it easy, T-Tone, the Mexican Terminator, El Terminador.
Ruben Guerrero. Ruben Guerrero, ladies and gentlemen.
Ruben Guerrero. All right, let's go back to the phone call. Don't forget to hit the like. Oh, and by the way, shout out to Frankie Sands for his contribution with Super Chat. He says, the pound-for-pound curse strikes again. Donaire, Chocolatito, Loma, now the steroid cheating fraud. Oh! Frankie not holding back any punches. Shout out to Frankie for his contribution via the Super Chat. Let's go back to the phone lines here. 347, you're on the air. 347, what's on your mind?
Yo, what's going on, BD?
Oh, MMA champ.
Yo.
Yeah, so we got, what's his name? Eddie Reynoso and Canelo Alvarez. You know, I mean, wow. He lost to Kim Jong Bivol.
Oh.
It was, you know, it was a one-sided fight. He got destroyed. I mean, listen to all the Canelitas out there, you know, crying, understand, you know, crying at the border, you know, so understand. But listen, Bivol is back. Shout to Putin. Shout to all of them, you know, and Bivol destroyed their king. And I predict this fight to a T, right? Everybody knows Emily Champ predict the fight to a T. I said, what did I say? That Canelo is easy to outbox Canelo, right? It's not that hard.
What was your prediction?
12 rounds is the hard part. And that's what Bivol did. He kept sticking his jab. So, I mean, it's very, you know, me, you know, being a
MMA, what was your prediction?
Historian, you know, I'm not surprised I got it wrong, right?
But MMA
I'm not
champ.
surprised I got it right.
I hate
the thing is, you know, all these guys like Bucho And like Bucho, I think he bet a lot on Canelo.
No, he
now he's
did
gonna have to spend his time more. Now he's gonna have to spend his time more on Lawrence to get his money back. But anyway, man.
Bucho, hold on. MMA Champ, hold on. I don't know if Bucho wants to respond to that. I don't know if he wants to. Bucho, you there?
No, he's 100% correct, man.
No, but hey, MMA Champ.
MMA, you're lucky Bucho wasn't on that raft with you. When you came over here, you probably pushed your ass off and you'd be floating around in the Caribbean right now.
But hold on, MMA Champ. I'm looking at the MMA Champ. We took official predictions down on Friday.
Yeah.
I got you down from Canelo decision. What the fuck?
Yeah, you're full of shit, dude.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, but look at the prediction. I have Bivol split decision, and also I've been saying this, everywhere that Bivol will win.
So
if you look at the Discord,
so you gave two different predictions.
Hold on, my nigga. I was talking though.
Hold on, not everyone at the same time, please. Not everyone. Jimmy, ask you your question. Jimmy has a question for you.
So did he give two different predictions? He gave a prediction on one show and then gave a different one to us?
Apparently.
The reason I put Canelo split decision was because I put Canelo split decision because I thought Bivol was going to get robbed. So I just put that to be safe. But I already knew, Bivol was going to win. And the thing is, though, right? I saw somebody say this. Canelo's power is not natural power. He loads up on the shots. It's the, him being so big. Even Bivol said, they asked him, were you hurt? Did you feel his power? Yeah, to his, he said to my arm, it hurt my arm. But Canelo's power, he loads up. He was just, where was the head movement? And also, Bivol was not baiting, he was not biting Canelo's bait. He was not taking Canelo's bait. And I think that was, very, it was he just got dominated. I had it 9-3, maybe even 10-2. I mean, wow, this was a great. Now it's time.
I think you need to get back to the oxygen tank, man.
We need to.
It's time to ship Canelo back to Ireland. Time to ship him back to Ireland.
Man, that's MMA Champ bringing the heat as always, man. All right, MMA Champ, thank you for your call. Call back next time. All right. Let's go back to the people in the chat are saying he's lying. All right, we'll have to double check on the Discord. See
I was wondering why he was ignoring my question. I asked it pretty clearly 3 times. What was your prediction? Because I thought I remembered him picking Canelo by decision.
Well, if indeed he picked, the final pick he made yesterday was Bivol, then maybe he'll have a point. But you can edit the response. We're trying to circumvent that because there's people that have been in the prediction league that have been editing the responses the day after. So some sneaky fucks in there. Anyway, listen, we got to go back to the phone calls here. We're almost done here. And then we got some emails to read as well. 929, you're on the air. 929, what's on your mind?
Gentlemen, good for having me on, man. Thank you. I'm gonna say this about yesterday's fight, man. After what I saw, instead of no boxing, no life, no rematch, no knockout loss, man.
Ooh.
I don't think Canelo is just too small for that weight class. There are weight classes for a reason. I think it was just too much for Canelo to handle that boxing ability and that power to go with it. It's not one hitter quitter, but it's just more impactful for him. And it's like, to me, he's better off just going back to 168. I mean, when I saw him, perform last night, man, it's like he was wearing all that pink and he was looking all red. He kind of reminded me of Kirby. You remember that video game?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's like bloated and he looked too tired for that weight class. But I think it makes me a little bit hopeful, as a Triple G fan, that he might pull off the upset if he comes back down. But you never know, man. I still, it makes that fight a little bit more intriguing now that he lost the way he did. But like, if only Triple G had the gas tank, to get into the later rounds. Because when I saw that rematch, man, I thought they were both gas, right, and it could be anyone's game. So if they were to square up again, man, I trust Golovkin's chin to kind of withhold the attack if they were to go at it again. But I think he's going to get a lighter touch. I say if you go back down, he'll probably get a lighter touch against a Bektemir Melikuziev, or maybe face Charlo. But yeah, man, it's just the way those punches were coming at Canelo, man. They were like fucking missiles, man, for real. He had to get out of the way, man. He couldn't be taking those punches flush. If you accumulate those shits, it's like it's gonna get you like later on, man. But that 113 and 113 scorecard was just like, man, they were gonna give it to him, but they had to keep it real, man. Like Bivol was just a better boxer, and I'm gonna go against. I'm gonna pick the American Russian against the Canadian Russian.
Oh, there you go. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. All right, Virtuoso. Yeah.
No, man. I mean, to me, I think it was a great teacher that, you know what, styles makes fights, man. It is, man. Right. I don't think Canelo should hang his head after this, but it's like, dude, you got to be more realistic with yourself, man. I just think it's kind of like Don Quixote. Like you're taking on a fucking windmill. You think it's a giant, but like, no, man. There's more to it, man.
Did you say Canelo shouldn't hang his?
Levels to it.
Did you say Canelo shouldn't hang his head or hang himself? Did you say he shouldn't hang himself?
No,
either one.
No, I think he shouldn't hang his head. Like he shouldn't be like walking around a shameful. No, man, I don't think he should kill himself, man. But like,
right. Well, that's good.
He's got too much to lose, man. Yeah, he's no, but you know what? I'm glad this fight happened. That should fucking humble him for real.
That's right.
Because I think that jump in the weight class and not tasting the bodies over at the weight classes, trying to be. The more I look at this fight, the more I felt like the Kovalev win was like more of a scalp because he fought a faded Kovalev, and he does have much experience at that weight class. So credit to Bivol. He showed great poise. He showed why he was the reigning champion at that weight class. And I can't wait to see him again. In the ring, man, for real.
All right, well, that's a fair assessment right there, Virtuoso, and always appreciate you calling in, and call back next time, right, man?
All right, man. Peace.
All right, take it easy, man. Yeah, I could hear myself in the background there. What the fuck? All right, let's go to 386. You're on the air, 386. What's on your mind?
Yo, what's up, fellas? How you doing, BDA?
Oh, Action Jackson.
Jackson, dude. What's up, guys?
Jackson. What's up, buddy?
We got Point Break. All right, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I remember BDA, I called you and we both kind of agreed. I forget, it was a couple of shows ago, and we were both like, yeah, I don't think Canelo beats Bivol. And we were spot on. And I just don't like these guys. Like, Canelo is a really, really good fighter, don't get me wrong. But he is more than big enough to compete at 175. And all these guys that said, oh, he beat Kovalev. Like, I just hear so many excuses coming out. Like, when Manny Pacquiao was beating Margarito up at 150, he never, like, coming from, 100 pounds? You never heard excuses from that guy. He was a career lightweight. And I'm just hearing a lot of excuses. And I think Canelo was a really, really good fighter. I just don't think he was an all-time great. I don't think he had the special effects. And honestly, I think Bivol was carrying him to an extent. I think towards the latter half of that fight, I think Bivol could have stepped on the gas and stopped him at any moment, he really wanted to. I mean, he was knocking Canelo all over the ring. I mean,
interesting.
It was getting bad.
Well, Jackson, let me ask you, what is there really a difference between a reason and an excuse?
True, yeah, exactly. Yeah, true.
Jimmy's getting philosophical now. When Jimmy starts getting philosophical,
I go deep on you every now and then.
Yeah. When Jimmy starts getting philosophical, he says something there.
I hear you, Jim.
Well, Jackson,
like T-Tone is like, we're watching greatness, blah 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 blah. Like greatness. I didn't see anything. I mean, I didn't see any greatness. I mean, Bivol is a potential pound-for-pound guy. I wish he'd get a little more aggressive. He's got all the skill in the world. I just never saw Canelo as like a Manny Pacquiao or Roberto Duran or Pernell Whitaker type fighter. I just saw him as a kind of, a really, really good Mexican hype job. And no offense to my Mexican people, I love you. Like BDA, Bucho. I mean,
Gonzalo.
you guys are, my guys, but I just don't think he had the he didn't have the special effects. I mean, the footwork I knew was going to give him problems. So, I agree with you, BDA, right away.
Well, thank you, Jackson. And man, listen, I appreciate everything you're saying. You can say whatever you want here, but I just watch out because Tito and La Familia might go after you, man. Hey, how you going to say that to La Familia, Holmes? But, hey, listen, we got your back. Anything else you want to say, Jackson, before we move on?
It's a good show, man. Pistol Pete, hope you're doing well with Jimmy and all the other guys. God bless.
All right, take it easy, Jackson.
Peace, Jackson.
Call back.
Peace,
don't be a stranger, man.
Right.
Yeah, don't be a stranger.
Peace,
call back. Call back.
Peace.
Yeah, right.
Peace, Jackson. Later, dude.
All right, that was Action Jackson. Let's go to another phone call here. We're almost done with the phone calls. Okay, it's loading up. 254, you're on the air. 254, what's on your mind?
What's up, BDA?
What's up? Oh, is this Gypsy?
Yes, it is. You recognize my voice.
Of course I do.
Gypsy.
We go back a long ways.
I mean,
let me finish.
Did you check your Ethernet cables, bro? Did you check your Ethernet cables in the modem? I don't
know, man.
Signal.
I don't know if we're going to cut off during the call, but yes, go ahead, man.
All right. I mean, I don't want to say I said Bivol is the only guy that 100% I think he'll beat him. Mm-hmm. Even though in my video I said draw because I don't know what the hell these politics are going to do. Because, you can win 12 rounds against Canelo and he might get a draw. And you guys notice he almost got a draw. The thing is, Canelo, no matter how big Bivol was, I won't say no matter what, but even if let's say Bivol was in 160, right? Mm-hmm. And tables were turned if Triple G was Bivol. It would have been the same shit. You didn't even see the best of Bivol because I think he was paid not to knock this dude out. He was just paid not to knock him out because he stood there on the ropes. And, knowing Bivol that he'll move away from the target from a simple uppercut. Even the guys on the undercard would have avoided those shots, bro, like in the first 3-4 rounds. That's why, someone like Sean Porter's like, oh, yeah, I think, Canelo won the first 4 or whatever, all that shit. No. Bivol was paid not to knock this dude out like how Usyk was paid not to knock out AJ. Same shit. Same thing, bro. Bivol elite. I think Bivol is better than Usyk. I think Bivol is better than Beterbiev. Just the problem with him is he doesn't have the body type to move, let's say, to cruiserweight or to heavyweight or whatever. But I think he is better than all boxers now. I can just say all of them. You can line them up. Terrence Crawford, all of them, bro. The thing is, for me, I didn't put him in pound for pound number 1 for the longest of time, for years, is because I needed to see. I needed to have a better resume, bro. Like a little bit, And Beterbiev will automatically establish that fact that he wants to beat the shit out of Beterbiev and makes him look like he's an amateur. You know what I mean? Like that's what's going to happen.
All right, now Jimmy wants to ask you a question.
I like to call him, yeah.
Well, no, John, I was going to say maybe if he was like Plant and those other guys who were it was a $10 million, that was the jump off mark for him. And like Steve Kim correctly put, that was their victory, was just getting the fight, getting paid. This dude only took $2 million. He took he broke it down exactly correctly how he capitulated to everything. It's kind of strange like a dude would do that, but then you greased him on the side not to knock him out. I mean, they wanted that fight so desperate to make sure that fight would go off that they took bones, bare minimum, just to have the fight happen. So, I mean, that's how confident they were in their ability. So it would be a stretch to think he took more money or took money not to drop him or stop him.
No, the more money is on the side. It's not going to be revealed of the side contract. It's not going to be revealed. Maybe even the fact
where does that money come from?
Get the fight. He needs to even the fact to get the fight. He needs to accept these terms. You know what I mean? To not knock him out. Yeah, it's $2 million, but accept these terms.
But that would have to be written in the contract, right? Obviously, because he could just easily
know that. But the fight proves it itself because Bivol never said. Bivol never doesn't have stagnant feet in the first few rounds, and gets you like on the ropes, and you could see it a mile away, bro. That uppercut's coming straight down the pipe, bro. Like, how you gotta be? I mean, come on, man. Like, this is. I would understand if it was like Billy Joe Saunders. Sometimes he doesn't move. Kovalev, Kovalev was faded. Even I think prime Kovalev would have had a problem with Canelo because how strong Canelo is. Because he started fading after the 6th round, he was getting caught with shots that he didn't have answers to. He didn't know how to, because he was repeating the same shit from round 1 to 5, and he was winning. After 6, that shit wasn't working with Canelo.
All right, well listen, Gypsy, that's an interesting point right there, man. We got to move on to the phone calls here, but anything else you want to say before we move on?
Bivol is the pound for pound number 1.
Oh,
it's not Terrence Crawford. It's not your boy Canelo, and Canelo is very great. He's good. Do not shit on Canelo. Canelo's a very good boxer. It's just that he fought a perfectionist. That's
all
it.
Right. Well, there you have it.
There's no one that's a perfectionist in the boxing right now. Just remember that. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you for calling in. Call back. We'll catch you on the next one, right, man? Take it easy.
All right, for sure.
All right, that was Gypsy Boxing Style. Let's go to 201. 203. 203, you're on the air. 203, what's on your mind?
Mr. BDA in the King Boot Show. It's Revolution.
Oh, Revolution, man. What's up, man?
What's going on? Everybody, what a beautiful morning. I've been waiting for this day for quite a few years now, that Canelo would get his, and he would have another loss on his record. Well, it's come, and I'm living life. The man looked like a frustrated woman at times. I'm happy. I'm happy. I want him out of the ginger community. He's been doing us a bad name for a while with his favoritism, his capitalism, and his nepotism. And now I'm here to celebrate.
Did Canelo losing change your accent or something? You sound like you're from Kentucky or Tennessee or something. What's going on here?
He's cutting his promo.
I got a little bit raspy. My voice is sounding a little raspy tonight or today because I had a match last night. I was at an event. I had to wrestle. I was going crazy, screaming, doing my thing. So, yeah.
Well, hopefully,
let me ask you, brother. What does it change for you? I'm just curious.
What changed? Oh,
like with the excitement, like what does it generate from? Like you said you got your, like what happens to Canelo that made you so happy? On top of just losing, but does it change something? I'm just asking. This isn't a gotcha moment or something. I'm just asking.
Sounds like it though, Jimmy.
My delivery sucks, BDA, but thanks for pointing that out.
I don't know, man. I just don't like him. I finally got his. He was like on my boxing hit list. You know, Deontay Wilder was on there. True. Tyson Fury took him out.
No problem, brother. I was just wondering.
Hopefully, one day the FBI is going to see that list. We're going to see it on TV. But I got to ask you, man, who would you like to see a Bivol fight next? Oh, well, actually, okay, let me ask you this. Bivol, Beterbiev, who wins?
Man, that's a great fight, dude. It's a fucking good one. I think I'd lean with Bivol, for real. I think I would, and I like Beterbiev. He's gonna have his fight with Joe Smith, but I'll tell you this: Canelo last night to me looked like Joe Smith in there against Bivol with the level of frustration. You know, they did that same move where they tried to flip him over the back. Like Joe Smith did the same thing. So Beterbiev, he's that same style, power punching, pressure fighting. I think he's going to be the top class. He's going to be probably the hardest one Bivol could fight of that style, but I think Bivol can handle it, man.
All right. Well, interesting take right there, La Evolucion, and thank you for calling in. Hopefully you do well in your next match. Oh, did you do well in your last match, or?
I got a nice big bloody nose.
Good for you, man. I got a bloody nose too last night, but it was from something else. Well, anyway, listen, La Evolucion, thank you for calling in, and we'll catch you in the next one, all right, man?
All right. Hey.
Take it easy, man.
See you, Rev.
All right, and now we go. Oh shit! Did I fucking hang up on the wrong caller? All right. Let's go to 86. Whoa, what the fuck? 860. You're on the air. 860. I sound like a Nazi there. Go ahead. 860. What's on your mind? 860.
Who, me?
Yes, 860. You're on the air.
Oh, sorry. First time calling, BDA. I didn't know how things worked. But, yeah, it looked like Bivol, he looked like he held back at some points. It looked like to me he might have been able to finish him, and he didn't.
Interesting. Yeah, somebody else said that too before. What gave you that impression?
It just looked like a lot of times if he had kept up the pressure that he could have put him down. But, you know, I'm not a big Canelo fan, but a big boxing fan. It looks like he just held back. I mean, he wasn't taking the bait and going in. But, I mean, I just felt like if he kept the pressure on, he might have been able to put him down.
Interesting. That sounds like we got a conspiracy.
He went after him at the 12th.
First time caller, so I mean, I follow, you know, all the boxing these days. It's getting a lot better, and I'm tired of seeing Jake Paul's face everywhere. I wish somebody would get him out of there. I don't think he needs to be anywhere near the sport, but you know, great channel, and I love what you guys do. So
Pete's going after him
first time.
Yeah.
Gonzalo, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I think he would have succumbed to the pressure too. I was thinking the same thing too, like what the caller said. Yeah, that's an interesting point because he had nothing on his shots like later, and you know, Bivol was blocking those, and they weren't really affecting him. So if you could take half-hearted Canelo's punches, like when he's getting like becoming depleted, and you're still relatively the same hair quicker trick, yeah, he could have knocked him out, man. I think.
Well,
just like caller said.
Can I tell you in a real quick, BDA? I think what's going on along with that too is. This kid's he's been doing this a long time. He knows exactly how his body feels. They probably go over while they're sparring. Like in his mind, he has a game plan. He doesn't care who he's fighting. Like Steve Kim said, doesn't matter if it was you or he has a thing he's doing. And he's probably knowing how much exertion he wants to let out after every round. Maybe after one of his combinations, he steps back because he can just feel his heart rate going up to a certain point, and he doesn't want to bring it to that next level. And it makes for a boring fight, and I don't agree with it half the time. But in the 12th, it seemed like in the last 30 seconds, it was like, well, there's not going to be no more rounds, and it seemed like he was trying to go at it then. But again, can be boring, that style too. But I think that's what he's doing.
That's right. That's
maybe
a good point.
Maybe he could feel when he's throwing his punches that when you're that close to a guy, you can tell whether they're hurting the guy or not, or whether they're just landing. Like, you know, when Canelo,
of course,
Billy Joe with that uppercut, he fucking starts fucking boloing because he fucking hears it, he fucking feels it, right? So maybe Bivol just says, "Look, I don't have that. I'm not a power guy. I'm a fucking pure boxer. I'm holding my own here. I'm winning this fight, fighting my fight, whether it be." Any pressure
and winning it,
come forward on me. Whether it's going to be Canelo,
said he didn't need a knockout.
Biev, or better Biev or Joe or the other kid. Like Steve Kim said, it's the same fight for Bivol. I got a guy just going to march forward and try to pressure me.
Hey, caller,
and try to get inside of me. I got a box.
Caller, let me ask. Well, I mean, these guys are making good points too about that, and I mean, you certainly made a good point as well. Just want to clarify: when you said Jake Paul should be taken, you mean taken out of boxing? You didn't mean taken out as in?
Oh, no. Well, I mean, I don't know. The Paul brothers, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how great
you meant taken out of
the
boxing.
world would miss them if they were gone, but just not in box. I don't know if he's really about making boxing great again or just making more money for himself, you know?
Right, but not taken out of life. You're talking boxing. You gotta say.
Oh no, not out of life. No, I mean nobody. No, not like. No, not that. No, that's not what I meant. But
just
I mean,
wanted to clarify.
Bivol, I mean, and he's not as marketable. You notice when they interviewed him, it was very difficult for him to talk, and he's not very good with English. So I mean, they might not see him as somebody they can sell and market. And I mean, that's a big thing in boxing that everybody cares about too. How marketable a fighter is.
Hey, Bivol speaks better English than Jake Paul, that's for sure. But anyway, listen, 860. We gotta go, but
need to know because he'll testify against you.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Butch is saying he gotta go. All right, listen, 860. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, just thanks, guys. Great channel, and I'll be tuning in. It makes boxing great. You guys have a channel like this. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Call back next time.
You'll regret it, Colin.
God bless.
You'll regret it. See you later.
Yeah, he's going to regret it. All right, well, listen. Well, Pete, let me ask you this, because I didn't get your opinion on this. Beterbiev Bivol, if that fight happens, who would you pick in that one?
You know what?
Come on now.
BDA, I'm going to be objective. I can't elevate Bivol to this fucking killer pound for pound. He's the new king. He fought his fight and he won. He's a pure boxer. It's going to be the same. He's going to fight the same fight against Beterbiev that he fought against Canelo last night. Can Beterbiev close the distance more effectively and use angles that Canelo just can't do? I don't know. I'm not totally impressed by Better Biev. He gets slappy and sloppy.
Are you eating? Are you chewing gum or eating a souvlaki right now? Because I didn't catch it.
I'm eating sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds. Oh, those are good, man. Those are good. I love them. Well, listen. Yeah, you might have a good. What do you guys think about what Pete said? Do you think that that's why I put it in the title. Should Bivol? How much credit should he get for beating Canelo? Because I mean, he was the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
That's what I'm saying, man. Guys, look, it's like when Loma lost to fucking. When Loma lost to Tio, blueprint exposed, fucking takeover, okay, yeah, and then you see him when he comes back. He had an off night for whatever reason. He lost. You see him come back against Nakatani and almost fucking blow his head off.
It's like that.
Like, oh, Loma. I'm like, no, we don't want you back. Just hang in there, man. Like, don't let this shit skyrocket you up and down. And take a lesson from Bivol and Canelo. Neither one of them are taking this thing like, I'm going to quit, change trainers. Bivol's not saying he's the greatest ever and everything else. He's saying, I wanted the opportunity, I got it, and I came out on top.
It's like that one caller said a while ago, this was just like a regular Bivol fight. I think Pascal, he got tagged up by Bivol, but Bivol's gas tank was way greater or better than Canelo's. Yeah, he was sloppy. He was getting tagged, and he was also tagging Bivol sometimes. But as far as like conditioning-wise, man, fucking Pascal had a greater engine than fucking Canelo. But I think this is just like a regular Bivol fight.
So I thought Bivol was the best I've seen him. You know what I mean? So it's like, if he's got a crazy good gas tank, why? If he thought he could knock him out, why wouldn't he have gone for it? But really, he seems like a rational enough guy to say, why would I stick my head in the fucking lion's mouth for no reason? I'm just going to keep boxing. He's going to keep trying to come at me flat-footed. I'm going to stay on my toes and outscore him. And I think that's what you saw in Canelo's frustration. I don't think he was ever hurt by Bivol's shots. Canelo wasn't hurt, and Bivol knew it. But he was getting frustrated because, look, I can't keep getting outscored like this. Canelo's trying to come forward. He's getting tapped with a jab and a right hand thrown, and they're landing. I can look him off. But the judges, what he said after the fight was, I think the judges are scoring certain things that are not happening in the ring, i.e., if I slip a punch or if I just look it off because it's not going to hurt me, right? Either one. If I look it off, that's a scoring blow to a judge watching the fight. And that's the unfortunate thing. It was just frustration of more than anything else. There was no damage.
I just want to step in and say, like, what Pete said is fucking true. You look at Teofimo Lopez after the win. This guy, he believes he's on top of the world. He can call the shots. He can take a year off. Whatever. Bivol is probably right now. He's humble. He's thinking, you know what? I can't wait to get back inside the ring as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And he's not claiming he's the best ever or anything like that. He just he won, and he was confident that he was gonna win, and that's it. I mean, the difference is amazing, man.
That's how they do it in Indio, California, man.
He handled it like Loma handled after that Rigondeaux fight. He's like, look, the guy's coming up in weight to my weight. I think I'm the best light heavyweight. If he wants to come up and challenge me, although it was totally lopsided, he's the challenger. Yet I'm acquiescing to every A-side bullshit Mayweather / Canelo playbook. It was not a 50-50 fight. Canelo hadn't fought a 50-50 fight since the Triple G fights. I'm not even talking about money. Fuck money. I'm talking about drug testing and ring size and padding and rope tightness, and to where, look, when he sends you the contract, lopsided and skewed as it is, and as insulting as it might be, you either put ink on it and send it back, which makes it binding, or you say, well, don't you think we could get like this concession? No, rejected. Where's Macaboo? You know, I'm going to be the first 5-time redheaded Mexican fucking cruiserweight, you know. So that's why they said, we just signed it and sent it back. Take it. We wanted the opportunity.
When you're getting put on the ropes like Canelo was, he might sell it to you like he's trying to bait you in. But I don't think he just goes there just because. He was getting hurt, and if you watch the gloves, how they were flying all over the place, yeah, man, Bivol got some momentum on them shots. And if he would have gone more to the body...
Why didn't Bivol go in there then? When he was telling him to come in, why didn't Bivol go in?
He landed 15 shots to the body. If Bivol would have consistently gone more to the body, he would have probably broke Canelo down. Because Canelo's shots, they weren't doing the damage to Bivol. But I don't know. I don't know how to answer
when Canelo backed up on the ropes and said, come on, and try to invite him in there, Why didn't Bivol go in there?
Because you're not going to fight his fight. You're not going to fight his fight. You're going to fight at your rhythm. And
He's going to get countered. He's going to get counters.
Yeah, right.
Just as Golovkin in the first fight. If you look at the first fight, there was moments where Canelo was on the ropes and Golovkin wasn't doing shit. Like, he wasn't doing anything. And then I believe his trainer later on said that they were afraid of getting countered, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And for those who
landed one shot, and Canelo looked it off and then shook his head at him like this, and Triple G.
And for those who criticize certain fighters that have fought Canelo that they didn't throw enough punches, well, you see what happens when you throw punches. I mean, Canelo has good defense. Even Bivol was missing a lot of punches, and he's fast and precise. And you're expecting other fighters that are not as good as Bivol to start letting their hands go against Canelo. I mean, now you can see why they weren't letting their hands go.
That's true. He was missing a lot too. That's right.
So to your point, his punch percentage went way down in this fight. He punched way below, I believe, his average punch stats. So you're right.
Canelo's main mistake, I think, in my opinion, the reason the first 4 rounds might have looked one way to the judges and to me too, as sideways as I was because Canelo was, you're right, Jimmy, looping behind Bivol's high guard. He's Asian. Don't fucking headhunt an Asian guy. Unless you're gonna fucking cave in his orbital bone like Triple G did with Murata. Unless you got that kind of fucking power where you're gonna break his orbital bone, you're gonna smash his fucking head in. Don't headhunt. No uppercuts, no headshots, no hooks, no nada. Okay? But listen to hold on, Gonzalo, I'm gonna let you go. But looping around the high guard, he's got that Joshua Clottey length on his elbow to where he can legitimately, without pulling his trunks up, he can legitimately have his elbows go almost to his belt line. Bivol has that same type of guard, right? Loop around enough to get him just to inch his elbow up a little bit. The left hook was landing to Bivol's body. Canelo's shorter. It was in range for him. It was a great game plan. Unfortunately, when he landed that first half of an uppercut, he fucking said, sayonara to that game plan, and he started headhunting. All right.
Somewhere along the line, Pete, when he lost the ability to throw straight punches, when he reinvented himself in the higher division, to throw them hooks, because when you lift weights, your arms get a little bolder, right? And when you get tired, you start telegraphing your shots just to be able to throw that arm that's heavier. So he's not throwing the straight punches, and I think somewhere along the line, he was hitting not the pads, but that round bag. It's called the governor bag. And him and Reynoso were probably thinking, man, you land the hooks pretty hard. And they started training consistently on that round bag where they kind of fell in love with the power. And they said to themselves, maybe I can compete against these bigger guys. But there's limitations when you get to happy with your hooks.
Okay, he's got the power. You're talking about that water bag? Land it to the body. He's Asian. No offense to any Asian people, right? Sumimasen. Okay? Ching Chow. But look. You can't headhunt an Asian. They don't have a fucking jaw. Their jaws are way back in here.
Hey, Pete.
You can't clip them. You can't clip them on the button. Stop
Pete,
trying.
You're going to get this fucking... No, hey, speaking of Asians, people in the chat are saying, are those actual books in the background, or they're saying they're a bunch of mangas? Like those Asian books, Asian cartoons?
It's actually a green screen.
All right. Well, listen, we had a 301 on the line, and they hung up, but so... Call back if you want next, because we're almost running out of time here. I don't want this to go over 3 hours too much. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 478. You're on the air. 478. What's on your mind?
BDA, what's going on, man? Appreciate you having me on.
No problem, man. What's up?
This is this is Right Side, man. I don't know if y'all ever heard of me. My name Right Side. Man, it was a hell of a fight. Like somebody on the panel said earlier, man. We got weight classes for a reason, and I'm actually happy the fight happened the way it did. The reason being is because for Canelo to be his size, going up campaigning at those higher weight divisions is he can be successful to some degree, but at some point in time, physics, metrics, all that starts to play a role into it, and so I think that now this is the prime opportunity because you have a lot of naysayers who were saying that Bivol was a cherry pick. I didn't think Bivol was a cherry pick, but you have a lot of people saying that. And so now this is the prime opportunity for Canelo to go and fight some of these other guys, the Benavidez of the world, the Charlos, and in my personal opinion, I think he beats Charlo. I think David Benavidez gives him a tough challenge, but I think he beats Charlo. I think he can beat Bivol Andrade. You know what I mean? So I think this happened the way it did, and now I think Canelo he should. He doesn't have to do anything. Canelo is still in the class of his own, but I think it'll be very nice to see him go down and take on some of these challenges at those lower weight classes because of how people have been talking about it, right? The build-up that people have put behind it, calling him a duck, saying that he's running, those type of things, when we all know that in the business of boxing, hey, that's what it is. It's a business as well as a sport. So I'm excited to see what Canelo goes from this, you know, and also Bivol, much credit to that young man because his footwork, I knew he had good footwork. I had him losing the fight, but and when I say I had him losing it before the fight happened, he clearly won the fight easily. I had it 10 rounds to 2 in my personal opinion, but I'm excited to see him versus a better Biev, you know, because I've heard that better Biev is supposed to be the boogeyman at 75. And from everything I've been hearing, Bivol was looking for that smoke before he was looking for the Canelo smoke. So
that's right.
Excited to see where boxing is going to go. I think this fight was very good for the sport of boxing because now it makes some guys look in the mirror and have to take certain fights, especially with Bivol only taking $2 million for this fight. You know what I'm saying? When the majority of these guys are looking to fight Canelo for big paydays. Bivol, he's fighting them for the love of the sport. I love that. You know what I'm saying? It's different. And so, but hey, I get long-winded, so much love to y'all, man. And I got one last question.
Please.
How all of a sudden does Bivol jump to the top of the pound-for-pound list over Bud Crawford? How does that happen? But outside of that, man, much love to y'all guys. Always tapped in listening, and appreciate you letting me rock with you.
Absolutely. Race side, you said?
Right side. Right side.
Right side. Excellent call, man. Call back next time. Some very salient points there.
All right, brother.
All right. Take it easy, man. Thank you for calling in.
Peace.
All right. That was right side.
Boxing style, wrong side.
No, come on. All right, and no, but he made some level-headed points right there, man. I tell you, there's some sane people out there in the YouTube community. Now, Pete, hold that thought for a second because we got to get to another phone call here, and this person has been waiting for a while. 301, you're on the air. 301, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up,
I heard you tell me to call back, so had to call in. I was listening to the stream earlier, and I saw when you had to reset the phone line, so I tried to sneak in and jump the queue. My great-grandmother was an Ashkenazi Jew, so I never wanted to miss an opportunity.
Oh.
But I guess I didn't call in at the right time.
All right.
Speaking of, of jewelry and plots, I called in earlier because I thought that I had a sinking suspicion that this fight was going to be fixed, but it turned out not to be the case. And I was actually really happy to see that. It kind of rejuvenated my love for the sport. Seeing people actually get the decision.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, what? Rejuvenate? What?
You say rejuvenated, but yeah, that's what you said, but go ahead, yeah.
How do we know Canelo didn't throw the fight?
Yeah.
But go ahead, caller. Yeah.
I can't hear you, Jimmy. What'd you say?
I know. I was saying, how do we know that Canelo didn't throw it? I was joking.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a great performance by Bivol. Till now, we haven't seen him use all the skills he's had. I think because he's never had to fight against a high level caliber of opponent, but also I think the anthropometry, the height difference. Made him kind of change his guard a lot. I noticed that. One of the things I really liked Bivol was doing is he stuck his hand out there, stuck his stick out there, but not like Shakur Stevenson or Lennox Lewis where he'd press it on your forehead and push you there to measure you. He would stick it out there kind of like Lomachenko to blind you. And then when Canelo tried to go around his guard, he would crash into him and keep him from getting any leverage on his punches. And it was just a really impressive kind of performance by Bivol. I didn't know he had that much, but yeah, I mean, I thought that if this was an on-a-level fight, there'd be no way Canelo could win, and I certainly think that. I think Bivol could have probably pressed the gas. I don't know if any of you got a chance to listen to Michael Montero he has like this little wrap up. But he made a really excellent point, and that Bivol knows exactly what to do against a shorter fighter, and that he wouldn't clench down in his guard when he was on the ropes. He would stay up there with a high guard. So when Canelo tried to land an uppercut, like you said, Jimmy, they would have to travel a longer arc. His elbow would have to go up, and it would hit through his gloves. So all the steam would go off the uppercut. And at the end, Bivol really reminded me of the prime Triple G, where at the end of the fight, he looked like he just came out of the sauna, and the other guy was all marked up. So
yeah, that's interesting.
That was a great thing to see.
Absolutely. Hey, great points there, 301. I'm glad you stayed on the line, man, for that. Sorry about the disconnection.
Yeah.
But
No problem. So shout out to Indigo, California.
It's always a great call.
Indigo, California at the house.
Yeah, shout out to Indio, California. Anything else you want to say before we move on? We're almost ready to wrap it up here.
No, just great show, guys. I really hope they make that Bet-Every fight. I think that's one of the best fights you can make in boxing because, we're probably not going to get Spence Crawford, but this is a consolation prize. There'll be more attention on it, and we'll have one Canadian, like you said, versus a Californian or whatever.
That's right.
Fighting in the Middle East or whatever.
That's right.
But
hey,
happy Sunday, guys. Shout out, happy Mother's Day. Shout out to all your moms.
Not my mom. But anyway, appreciate the sentiment, man. 301, thank you for calling in, man, and we'll catch you in the next one, right, man?
Talk to you later, brother.
This guy.
All right, bye-bye.
This guy. Where's my copy of Mein Kampf?
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. He's a good guy.
Yeah, pizza.
What do you want, a refund?
Pizza.
You want a refund because the fucking phone lines went down? Leave us alone.
Yo, Pizza's fucking crazy today, man. What the fuck? It's those sunflower. It's those sunflower seeds.
He's got a sense of humor.
It's those sunflower seeds. All right, well, listen, fellas. We're almost ready to wrap it up, but you know what it is. We let everybody call here. We let everybody voice their opinion in the chat, and now it's time to. Oh, hold on a second. Shout out to the Quags. Shout out to the Quags for rejoining the BD membership program. Shout out to the Quags. Really appreciate it, man. Quags, welcome aboard. Well, he's always been aboard. I mean, but now it's just...
He's an OG. Quags.
Quag's an old timer, man. He's good people.
Jimmy doesn't even know who he is. He's just like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I do. I talk to Quags. Ask him all the time after the show.
I'm kidding, Jimmy. I'm kidding. All right, listen. Hey, you know what time it is? You guys want to do a couple of communiques?
Absolutely. Fire in the hole, baby.
All right.
You need that Morse code.
Yeah, right.
Communiques. They come to us from all over the world. People write to us to the email address that's on the YouTube page there. Communiques. All right, let's go to a couple of communiques. If you want to write to us, you can write to us at the email address that's in the About Us page. I always forget to say it on the air, but hey, you can catch it yourself over there in the About Us page. All right, write to us. Please keep the salty language to an appropriate minimum, and let's get down to it. All right, this comes to us from IFAC Waifu. Is that what IFAC Waifu? And he says,
Christ. "Look at this motherfucker."
He says, ever since I joined your prediction league, I've been making this gesture to my son. You pay now. Haha. I keep getting picks right, and he keeps paying. Until last night. After picking Canelo, he told me he was out of money. Now his big-titted wife will have to share her bed with me. Life is good, BDA. Thanks again. Well, I'm glad we could be of service. And shout out to Felipe and MMA Champ for running the prediction league. If you want to catch it there, go to the Discord and then go to the BDA Prediction League channel. And catch there's some guys who are making some good predictions, man. So, as you can see, this guy's betting on them, and he's winning. Shout out to IFAC.
He's got that beef and broccoli chunk in his smelling his ass off. Look at him.
Yeah, now he's eating
L7. That's an L7 if I've ever seen one. He's like, and his son can come up with the money. Something wrong.
He's gonna be eating that like he's eating his son's wife's pussy. Let me tell you.
No substitution.
There's no stray cats around that house. All right, let's move on.
All right, this comes to us from Esteban from El Salvador, I think. He says, "Hola, mi familia." He says, "So check it out. I just moved into a haunted house, and I swear to God, every time I take a picture, I hear a voice behind me calling me a baguette. Let's say it rhymes with baguette. What do I do?" Well, I got no experience with haunted house, guys. What the fuck do you tell this guy?
You say, listen. I don't know who this guy.
What the fuck is this, man?
Listen, listen, Reynoso. I'm leaving the gym. That's Ryan Garcia leaving the fucking. That might be Ryan Garcia leaving the Renault Sport gym.
All right. Well, shout out to Esteban. We don't know what to tell you, man. Sorry, we're at a loss for words here. One of the few times.
Yeah, because it's not. I thought about 3 things to say, but each one of them I said, yeah, no, that could get us kicked off.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to Esteban, man.
That's part of he's a part of the protected class. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Shout out to Matt Boris for calling in. Writing in. He says, I read that email from a few weeks ago, stating that the cross of the one true Lord repels transpires, and I can attest to its veracity. I've been sleeping with this nightlight for 2 weeks now, and BDA has refrained from sneaking into my house to suck my bodily fluids. Stay away, BDA, you big-dicked freak. All right, now, first of all, that's fake news, man. Like that other guy that said, he did have that big dick part right, but everything else is just lies, slander, and he's lucky I don't get Rafel Shapiro on the line. Straighten this whole thing out. All right.
I like how all the emailers have the same, font, and then they have the same little image attached to it.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's very convenient.
What the fuck is this?
I don't know. All right, this is man of good taste, and he says, I told you Canelo would lose. All right, first of all these Johnny come latelys, these Monday night quarterbacks, if we didn't hear from you from before Saturday, we don't want to hear your opinion of that. We told you so, all right? Jimmy, Pete, Gonzalo?
I'm the only one. I'm apparently the only one that picked Canelo. Everybody else fucking... I'm hearing like 99% of people saying, I told you Bivol was going to fucking do it. I told you.
Well,
I'm like, damn, I must have been out in left field.
No, just everybody. I think everyone in the panel had, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember what Chief picked, who he picked. No, I think it was Bivol. But yeah.
I'm talking about the listeners, the people texting, the goddamn, everybody's coming out of the woodwork.
Oh, no. Listen, Canelo was by far the favorite, dude. No, you were amongst the majority of people had Canelo by far, including Vegas. I mean, you heard the interview this was an upset. This was a big upset.
I thought it was. I mean, look, those same people pick that Kentucky Derby winner, that 80-1 shot yesterday. I told you he was going to 80-1. I told you he was going to win.
Yeah. Monday morning quarterbacks, man. All right. Well, I don't want to hear from these people. Shout out to Johnny Muscles here. Johnny Muscles, he says, you can't believe how mad I get each time I see these pussy fighters miss weight. It's not rocket science, you pigs. How do I stay slim? I buy junk food and I scream at it before every workout. I dare it to stop me from achieving gains. So far, I've thrown $25,000 worth of food in the trash, but I'm lean, cut, and ready to rock. How about you? Hey, that's a good strategy, man. I might have to
piece of shit pizza, little tiny ass.
You forgot to say tight.
Yeah, you forgot to say that. Yeah, that's what those weird ass people say.
When you say it, dude, it's classic.
All right, so that's a good technique there from Johnny Muscles. I'm gonna.
I like that other dude's white belt. That was classic. Yeah. The white belt and the pink shirts. Mom, what are you doing on this picture? Yeah. Look at this fucking dude.
But I wonder what's missing outside. But I wonder what's missing outside of the picture because he's looked like he's gonna take a bite out of the cake. But it looks like somebody's sticking him from behind.
Oh, come on. Wait a minute. Gonzalo, what the fuck?
Oscar's right behind him.
Yeah. Oscar with the utensils. Yeah. All right. Shout out to Snuffmaster for writing in. He says, big fan here. You guys make some good videos.
Master.
I'd love to collaborate with you to make something really special. Let me know if you're interested. Sincerely, Snuffmaster. All right. Well, hey, Jimmy, would you rather be on camera or off camera for this type of movie?
With that, I'd rather be nowhere near where the feds could tie me to him because I do it because I like it. You know what I mean? 8 millimeter, that's Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, Dino Velvet. Dino Velvet's producing this one.
Yeah, Dino. Yep, exactly, brother.
All right.
Dino Velvet.
Hey, that's the same one. What the fuck?
That's classic.
All right, this comes to us from ABC, Always Be Closing, and he says, I'm a real estate agent, and last night I was watching the Canelo Bivol card on my phone while I did some repairs on the house I'm selling. But the card was so boring, I downed an entire bottle of vodka and passed out. My potential buyers ended up finding me on the floor with vomit all over me the next day, and surprisingly backed out of the purchase. Fuck Eddie Hearn and Canelo Alvarez. Well, what about that, guys? Like I said, I missed the undercard, but I heard it was awful.
I did the same thing except for passing out. I did the whole bottle of vodka. I did not pass out, and I'd close on the house.
And you know what? Honestly, I would just tell him that could have been worse. Instead of not closing on the house, he could have woke up with his asshole sore.
Okay.
I mean, look at his face, right? No, when you're passed out and it's strangers, let's just be honest, man.
What's going on here, guys? Come on, man. Let's keep this classic.
He's lucky. He's lucky his pants are up and not like.
all right. Come on, what the fuck? What's going on here? You guys it's supposed to be a classy show, man. Come on. No, but yeah, listen. Nobody forced this guy to down a bottle of vodka. Come on. All right, and finally, this comes to us from See No Bite. I don't know if that's a woman or a girl.
Fucking freak.
I mean, or a guy, but yeah, it says, I fail to understand why these fighters are afraid of suffering. Better to surrender to it than to escape it. For pain is not something to fear, but rather something to cherish. Pain is simply another form of pleasure on the spectrum of delight. I have tasted all that the world can offer, from carnal pleasure to food and lavish comforts. They pale in comparison to the delights of suffering. I invite you to experience these new tactile vistas by visiting me at Luciana's House of Pain. Free parking available. I have such sights to show you. All right, I don't even know what to say to that one. All right, listen, fellas, that was a communiques. Thanks for writing to us. Yeah,
he's like Bill Murray in that movie, fucking Little Shop of Horrors. He loves to go to the dentist. Remember? He thought it was like he was getting off with his teeth being pulled out.
Exactly, man. Well, listen, you can write to us at the email address that's in the About Us page. Make sure to, we got some weird ones, but hey, we got through them. All right, so fellas, what else can we say about last night?
Tell them that you cannot promise that communiques will not be handed over to the federal authorities, the fastball.
Exactly.
We're supposed to say that.
Yeah, BDA, you got that Ryan Garcia communique that he deleted that Twitter.
The one you posted here. Okay, so Gonzalo sent me this. Shit, hold on. Okay, so this is a tweet that he deleted. Now we don't know what he was saying beforehand, but this is what he said. He said, "Yeah, that last tweet was a dig at Canelo. I'm human, so what? He said some shady shit about me. Cry me a river." Huh?
It was a dig, huh?
It was a dig. What do you guys think?
Let's see if he keeps that same energy next time he sees him. Next time he sees him, he'll be staring at the tops of his shoes.
Oh,
hey, how you doing? What's going on, Alvarez?
Yeah, it's just real snakish, man.
Maybe that's why they kicked him out the Reynoso gym. Maybe he didn't leave. Maybe they said, "Fuck this guy."
He's just a fucking bratty kid, and all that I heard about Canelo said about him is that he needs to get his shit together and get serious.
That's right.
That's all I heard about. Canelo's not holding the fucking mitts for him. You know what I'm saying?
Apparently, that was some shady shit.
I don't give a fuck. Good luck to him.
When we first talked about him leaving, I said, I bet you he was doing shit like, supposed to meet the trainer there, like Reynoso at 2:00. He's showing up at 3:00 or, late. And sure enough, Canelo, when he complained about him, said that. He's like, the kid's supposed to be here at 12. He shows up at 2. Like, it's just so. I think Canelo was trying to be a preemptive strike and trying to let him know. Probably like Reynoso's complaining to him. And Canelo's like, you know what? Let me say something so it doesn't blow up, and kind of call them out on it. But because the kid's never been told no, including by that creep, that fucking old dude who had him. What was he, fucking 49 when he had him? I mean, because the dude looks like he's 85.
Who are you talking about? His father? Garcia.
Quick Boy's father, man. He looks like he's fucking old as fuck, man. So that usually when the guy has a child older in life, they don't usually discipline him as much. And honestly, he's like a kid who's never been told no, like everything he's wanted. Like he had 2 electric cars as a kid. You know what I mean? When neighborhood kids had none. You know what I mean?
Interesting, man. I mean, yeah, he's a bit of a freakazoid. That's for sure. I mean, yeah, Gonzalo, what do you think? Do you think Ryan Garcia was playing too much ABBA in the gym, or?
I think he's confident because he's tall and he relies on his reflexes that he thinks that moving forward he can do a lot of great things in the sport, but he's got a lot of limitations in his style. That it's not going to be so easy for him once he faces fighters that got more creativity to their game, because he's kind of upright. So it's like, yeah, you can talk all this stuff because you feel confident about yourself, but yeah, Canelo's done more than you. So why don't you prove us what you can do?
Exactly.
In the ring.
That's a good point, man. That's a sensible point. But apparently, that if you dare to say anything like that to Ryan Garcia, that's saying shady shit, according to him. So we got to treat him with kid gloves.
It's just everybody's fault, but his. He's got the fucking tattoos going now. So this is the same old fucking routine now. He's gonna write all over himself and express himself that way. Joe Goosen can can take it or leave it. Jimmy has obviously diagnosed him with selfie chin. Selfie chin. That's a boxing term for when you can't keep your too many selfies. Jimmy diagnosed it. And his last fight, it's the same deal. It's like the same kind of Canelo thing. Like you're just gonna haul off and fucking throw 1-2. 1-2, 1-2, like just big, huge load up on hooks. You look like a fucking fool, man. Set it up. I don't care if you can shatter somebody's arm bone. I still think it's total bullshit. You just fucking you're just not setting anything up. And when a guy shells up, Lomachenko swipes his glove down and fucking cracks him with a hook. Don't just keep hitting the guy's arms, man.
Yeah.
But what do I know, you little fruitcake? Good luck.
Listen, I mean, it is what it is, and some people.
What would Larry Merchant have said after this fight? His closing statement type of thing.
Stand in front of me, not behind me.
He's a come from behind type of guy. All right, well, listen.
Park too far from this stadium.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, no, he would say some soliloquy, but yeah, I think he would end up. I think Bucho. I don't think he would like him. I don't think he would like Garcia the way he handles himself.
I was talking about yesterday's fight.
Yesterday's fight.
Yeah.
What would Merchant say?
Yeah, remember he would have a closing statement or something like that.
A soliloquy.
He would say he would say something really judgmental in regards to Canelo's stamina. That's for sure. Like he wouldn't mince his words.
Jim, this is Vegas, where sometimes you dare to be great and you come up snake eyes.
Oh, is that what he said one time?
Yeah.
I just want to get hammered and get a bag of Coke. Good night. I'm too old for this shit.
All right, well, listen, fellas, I'm losing steam here. We've been on for more than 3 hours. So shout out to everybody that joined us via the panel here. Always appreciate it. Shout out to everybody that called in, everyone that donated with the super chat. Shout out to Steve Kim for calling in as well. Everybody that called in, always appreciate it.
Kim.
And of course, what the fuck? And of course, everyone in the chat. I'm talking about Tony Boswell, Fast Car, Alan R, Rex, Eparacua, The Quags, Blues Boxing, Don Ramon, Mr. Flash U17 for OEY, Mega Man, Gypsy Style, Paper Tiger. You guys know who you are. If I forgot anybody, it's because we got to go. But thanks again, fellas. Got to go. Take it easy. And catch you on the next one. Hey, next week, what's his name? Charlo and Castaño rematch of an entertaining fight. So that's going to be an interesting one. Thanks again, fellas, for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one, fellas. Take it easy. Thanks for watching.
Disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Can I kiss you on the mouth?
No, I'm not.